switch, but when I got to high school, it was left.
Good?
I took left of it.
We're going to call to order our meeting here. Bang that gavel. We probably got a long meeting tonight, so hopefully not too long. We're going to call to order the Logan Municipal Council June 16th meeting. And we are going to start with an opening ceremony from the U.S. Youth Center for Community. And we'll invite Shelley and Lexi. I got it wrong the first time, and then I was going to say it wrong the third time too. And Lexi up to the microphone. Thank you, Shelley.
Well, good evening, everyone. I am Shelley Ortiz, and I am pleased to be here on behalf of Utah State University Center for Community. We want to invite all of you and all of our Cache Valley community to join us at the Utah State University's 6th annual Juneteenth celebration. This event is going to be free and open to everyone, and it's taking place this Friday, June 19th from 5 to 8 p.m. at Bridger Park. It is an evening for celebration, education, and community connection. We're going to have live music, cultural performances, educational materials, and a complimentary barbecue with both meat and vegetarian options as long as supplies last. So, last year we welcomed over 600 attendees to this event. One participant captured the spirit of the evening when they said, "This is what community is." And it was absolutely amazing to see people getting together from different backgrounds and learning with and from each other. So I'd like to give some time to Lexi Blackwell, who's president of Utah State University's Black Student Union, to share more about Juneteenth celebrations. Just to note, Black Student Union is a student-led organization, and the views and opinions expressed, they do not necessarily reflect, but we think they align with those of Utah State University.
Hi, guys. Okay, Juneteenth is a time to honor a pivotal moment in American history. On June 19, 1865, federal troops arrived in Galveston, Texas, and announced the end of slavery more than 2 years after President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. Juneteenth has been celebrated since 1866, thus 2026 marks 160 years of Juneteenth celebrations. Utah has a long history of Juneteenth observances, including celebrations dating back to 1892. Today, events take place across the state, building on traditions of music, storytelling, and community gathering. The USU Juneteenth celebration provides an opportunity to participate in Juneteenth celebrations as part of many broader observances and held through the state of Utah. This is super important to me because it helps me to know that there is a community out there who loves and supports the things we do and the causes worth celebrating. We look forward to celebrating this historic moment with our community at Utah State University's 6th annual Juneteenth celebration on Friday evening at Bridger Park. I will be doing glitter tattoos if any of you are interested. And we now invite you to stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Shelley and Lexi. We'll now move to acceptance of the minutes, and we'll note that there are 2 meetings minutes on there, both our May 26th budget workshop and our June 2nd regular meeting, as well as approval of the agenda for this evening, or if there's comments, questions, or concerns.
I will motion to approve the May 26th, 2026 budget workshop and the June 2nd, 2026 regular meeting, and the approval of the agenda.
Second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? We have our agenda approved and our minutes accepted. A couple announcements here for our 2026 regular meeting schedule. Our meetings are regularly on the 1st and 3rd Tuesdays of every month at 5:30 p.m. But our regular meeting for July 6th has been canceled in observance of July 4th, Independence Day. So our next meeting will be July 21st, 2026. That's our next regular meeting. Also to note on there, we do have a Truth in Taxation meeting with a public hearing on Tuesday, August 11th, 2026 at 6 p.m. and that will be here in the council chambers. And there is also a notice, I'm going to check my time here, make sure it's right. We also have a special meeting that we are holding for a moratorium on data centers, and that will be June 30th at 5:30 p.m. Is that correct? Correct. Okay. And that will also have a public hearing regarding that. We'll now move to questions and comments for the mayor and council. This is the time for anyone in the audience who has any questions, comments, or concerns for the mayor and or council to come to the microphone. We do ask that you keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. State your name, city of residence, and keep your comments within the purview of the council or mayor. But with that, I will open up the microphone to anyone who has any comments, questions, or congratulations for something. I don't know. We have one. Perfect.
Hi, I'm Gail Hansen. I live in Logan. My grandma was born in Richmond and spent her teenage years on 6 South and about 150 West. Between her back door and the south branch of the Logan River, there was just open land. She would walk up to the Thatcher Mansion and do light housework and heavy housework and childcare for the Thatcher family. And in doing so, she crossed the north branch of the Logan River. That Logan River, our history of our city says that we established the fort close to the Logan River. Well, if it was close to the south branch of the Logan River, then this would be 4th North, or maybe 6th North, because the center of town would be a half a mile south of where it is. So when we say the Logan River, at least in those early days, they were very clear that the north branch of the Logan River was the Logan River, that it was bifurcated, divided, but both parts were the Logan River. And I found, as I was looking things up, you know that a tributary is a river that flows into another river. The north branch of the Logan River could be considered a distributary. That's a real word. I didn't make it up. So we need to, I've noticed in signage and in documents that we tend to delete the north branch of the Logan River. I was just at Garth Gardens, and the sign there, it's got a nice little flow at the south branch of the Logan River, and the north branch, which is like steps from that sign, does not appear on the sign. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Cashwater District. The purposes of the district include planning for and facilitating other things, including the natural stream environment in a cost-effective way. All these purposes are met in a cost-effective way to meet the needs of residents and the growing population. Our per capita water use in this chart, supplied by you guys, has grown from 143 gallons per CD, I don't know what a CD is, to 147 gallons over 4 years. So we're not doing real good at conserving water. We need to do more conservation design, use low impact development, things like rain supported landscaping. This open space and natural areas, I've got so much. $308 million of taxpayer money to pressurize the system when we could do stormwater for 1.7 million.
Thank you, Gail. Patrick.
Howdy, I'm Patrick Belmont. I live in Logan. It's good to see you all. I can confirm as a geomorphologist that distributary is a word, indeed, and the north branch of the Logan River is unquestionably a river. I do understand that the city has an interest in calling it a canal because there's management issues of having to clean it out, and if it were called a river, we'd have to apply for permits. That's my understanding, at least, and that gets complicated, and I get that. But there are probably other ways we can. Rivers clean themselves, so anyway, that's not what I'm up here to talk about. But Gail inspired me. We live in a very dry place. Forecasts over the next several decades in Utah are drier. As Gail mentioned, we've got a $300 million water infrastructure proposal. And as I was looking through that and thinking about, what I think is good there and what I might have other suggestions for, one glaring thing is that there's just very little water reduction and conservation embedded in that. There's lots of ways that Logan could be doing better. I started looking into water conservation efforts that Logan has made, and we've made some, but there's a lot more that we could be doing there. So I just wanted to bring to your attention one program from the state the legislature passed a few years ago that incentivizes people taking turf grass out and replacing it with low water use perennials. Beautiful plants attract pollinators and things like that. There's no investment that's needed from the city. You just have to pass an ordinance that new developments would be under some low water use guidelines. And so to me, it seems like a win-win-win situation. I would love to know why Logan has not decided to do this so far. But more than that, I'd love for you guys to consider moving forward and passing such an ordinance so that Logan residents have access to hundreds of thousands of dollars for this incentive program. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick.
My name is Linda Johnson, and I am a proud resident of Logan, Utah. And I love what both Gail and Patrick have said about water usage, and I know that's on your mind, that you guys have been very conscientious of that. And I agree about the programs that the state runs, things like Rip the Strip and things like that. And I've actually had conversations at places like Anderson Seed and Garden, so I know that people are aware of the programs, and I think they're trying to run a separate program for more water-wise turf, but there are many, many other options that we can do to, I feel like, educate and beautify, that Salt Lake County and even other places in Cache County are taking advantage of these programs currently. And as a resident of Utah, it does sort of bum me out a bit that I can't get any sort of return on that, even though I want to do the programs and will have to pay for the full cost of any landscaping renovation myself instead of take advantage of tax incentives and things like that. Beyond that, I want to say I brought my two youngest kids with me, and they wanted to say a few words, which I guess they can probably get their own time since they're a member of Logan. But just how much we love and appreciate all of the fun activities, beautiful parks in the area, and things like that that we've been able to do, that even though we're in a small community and we rejoice in being a small community and having a small community feel, there are so many opportunities. We went to Summerfest, and North Logan does the Touch a Truck. I don't think Logan does anything like that. But maybe in the future they could, because I mean, we have lots of good investment in our city power and stuff. Do you guys know what that is?
Yeah, they have the trucks come, right?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go and they've got all of their emergency vehicles, the Connect buses out, things like that, and we've got to watch a helicopter take off, things like that, but that get kids excited in the infrastructure of the city and how things work. Like cement trucks will come talk about how they do stuff and equipment, things like that. Anyways, but both the summer kickoff and that were very fun. We love playing in the little bit of water that is at Merlin Olsen Park, and seeing the higher levels of water that we don't play in at other parks. But I love that that's an option, that there are places that are gentle enough that young kids can put rocks in and build dams and such. So for my family situation, I feel like you guys have helped nurture programs, wonderful programs at the library that we take advantage of, and things like that. So thank you very, very much. Okay.
I feel great.
Oh, hang on. I say your name first.
I am River Johnson. I am River Johnson, and I want to feel how grateful
Oh, she lives in Logan.
I live in. I feel grateful for my community. I am
Grateful for my neighborhood.
I am grateful for my neighborhood. I feel happy with my neighborhood. I am happy in my community and my mayor.
She participates in a program called Run Club at the park near our house that we lovingly call the Sledding Hill Park. And they do that every morning at 9 a.m. It's free and just run by community people. And I love that Logan fosters so many programs that make my kids love living here.
I didn't catch her name. What was her name?
River.
River. Thank you,
And
River.
this is Alder, who's very entranced by police officers.
I mean, I don't blame you. Thank you both for coming.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Josh Mulder from Logan, and she's got a really appropriate name. So, you guys read in the paper that one of Logan's icons got in a pedestrian or a bike versus motor vehicle accident. And I mean, it's not the first time, but good. I mean, it's hard to think. You know, I've known about Brett for a long time. You know, remember heading up to Preston, you know, on the weekends to go out here run, and there he would be. We'd pass him and he'd be waving to everybody, you know, Preston back like nothing. Anyway, we're gonna, I mean, sorry, I'm kind of just coming off the top of my head. So, the traffic in Logan is still horrendous. I know it takes time to do it, but thinking that maybe we should do a memorandum, I think that's the correct term, with some of the development going on until Logan can adjust to everything that's been passed in the last 4 years. We still got a lot of development coming up, high density, Fort North Corridor and all that, and that's just gonna create so much more congestion. I don't know if you guys travel, you know, east to west across Main Street, you know, from Main First, it's crazy. It takes me about 5 minutes on the average just to get across those 3 lanes. One, the traffic lights they're synced really badly. And the amount of traffic going is just crazy. So I mean, I think Logan needs time to reset. So I think a memorandum would be good to halt new development going on until we can get a handle on this. What's going on here with the growth? I think we've grown way too fast and without any thought to the future of how people are going to handle it, especially, you know, natives that live here. Native Loganites, not natives. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Josh. Seeing no one, we'll close our public comment. And I meant to, but I failed to excuse Mayor Anderson. He is out of town this week with his family. But I will turn the time over. We've got some mayor and staff reports, and Craig Carlson is our acting mayor today. And so we'll turn the time over to him.
This is a library board appointment. Jadine Denniston. Jadine Denniston. She's here. Invite her to stand. There she is. Appointment to library board for her. Sounds like she's worked very well qualified, 37 years as a school librarian and 29 years teaching library classes at Utah State. So we'd ask the council for a ratified vote.
It's just a couple of years.
And I will say
experience.
Jadine has served on the library board before, and when I talked to her when she walked in, she said, I'm thrilled to be back. So I would heartily approve that appointment.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll happily second.
We have a second. Any further comments? All those in favor of ratifying, is it Jadine? Is that how you say it? Jadine Denniston to the library board, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Jadine. Welcome back. We're happy to have you. With that, we'll close our mayor and staff reports, and we will move on to council business and initially planning commission updates with Councilwoman Jeannie Simmons.
There will be some rezones that we will workshop this evening that were discussed at Planning Commission, and they also did an initial discussion about the wetlands code amendment that we had sent back and is now coming back. But that will be continued to the July 9th Planning Commission meeting for further study.
Thank you, Jeannie. We'll move to council announcements. Does any council members have anything important that they feel like they need to bring up before the council before we move on to our action items this evening?
The only thing I have to report on, June 4th, I attended the Cache Valley Center for the Arts Board meeting, and budget was approved for that meeting, and that was really, there, so operationally, they're doing great, and very much value what they do for the community.
Any others? If not, I'll mention one or two briefly. Okay, well, I'll just mention my two briefly. Oh, did you have one?
Yes.
Sorry.
Today, actually, we had I believe it's the last meeting to select and come approve the mural that is going to go on Center Street. I think it's going to be a great addition to the already growing murals all in that area. So I'm excited about that.
Okay. Thank you, Ernesto. I just have a couple. I was looking at my calendar. One or two are just an update for the public, and one or two are, I guess an update up here. One that I just want the public to know about. Most of us attended a wonderful lunch hosted by the Logan City School District School Board, and it was great to sit with them and talk about ways that we can build the community together. In my couple years on council, that's not something that has happened before, and it was a great invite from the school district, and I think there was some good discussion there, and I hope I gave Mayor Anderson a nudge that maybe we should host one in a couple months and see if we can make this like a biannual thing with them to make sure we're working better together. There was good discussion about the elementary schools and middle schools and what we can do to build community around them. So that was one that I thought was great. Briefly, Melissa and I went to a rec center meeting with the county on Friday, which is always a bit of lively discussion, but I'm always optimistic and supportive of hopefully we can get some movement towards a rec center for the community if that's what the community wants, and it's good to see the county trying to pull that together. So it was a good meeting.
It was a good meeting. And we should be clear, it's a steering committee.
Right.
We'll be discussing
yes, it's a steering committee. Thank you for clarifying for me.
Yeah.
And then the last thing, I know I announced this, but there is a special council meeting on June 30th at 5:30 p.m. here in the council chambers, and that's discussing a possible moratorium on data centers. So if you have thoughts on a moratorium for data centers, that is a time to come and share those thoughts.
So I want to add two things when you're done.
Yeah, I just have one last thing. If you guys will indulge me for just 30 seconds, we have our new council intern sitting in the back of the room. Can I have you come up? Is that okay? And I just want to have you introduce yourself, Bryson, to the council. I know some of you guys haven't met him yet. He just started last week. Utah State kindly offered us an intern, and Bryson went through an interview process with a few other possible interns and was selected, and we're excited to have him. Bryson, I didn't warn you for this. Do you want to give us a 20-second introduction?
Absolutely. My name is Bryson Wonderly. I was born and raised in Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City proper, not one of the outlying Jordans or Murray or anywhere. I'm in Salt Lake itself. I'm going to be starting my junior year at Utah State studying law and constitutional studies with a minor in history, also a minor in criminal justice. My ultimate goal is to be on the Circuit Court of Appeals as a judge, and this was a wonderful opportunity presented to me through AmeriCorps and the One Utah Service Fellowship. It's kind of the 20-second version of me.
Thank you, Bryson.
So Bryson, I emailed you a bunch of stuff.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I'd say you should all have his email. You are welcome to call him, email him, pester him. We have a limited number of hours, but he is available if you need him to help with anything. I have him doing some data center research. I think Jeannie's emailed him a couple things that I've heard.
Well, I just tried to focus a little bit.
Well, yeah, and we have him looking at some zoning code research as well, so if you need help with anything, Bryson is happy to help, and I'm sure we'll figure this all out together because it's been a while since we had an intern, and I'm excited to have you. So thank you for jumping up for me, Bryson.
Thank you.
I was glad when I saw you sneak in. Jeannie, and then we'll...
I was not paying close enough attention when you started this, and I should have. You and I both attended the first meeting with planning to start redoing and reestablishing zoning that will more comply with our new general plan. So we're starting that process. And I also attend the Cache Metropolitan Planning Organization meetings, and that meeting was one of the more interesting ones I've been to lately. And there's, as you know, if you've gone on Second North and then Second North becomes something else and then it becomes Wolfpack Way and it goes north, well, the goal is that it's supposed to go to Smithfield. And so the county has established the route now. They've done a study and they've established the route, and about half I want to say half a block, but it's longer than that, half a mile after where it finishes in Hyde Park, it will veer up to the north and east and meet up with another road and go into Smithfield that way. So that's the next piece that will probably be funded and studied, and so you can look forward to driving all the way to Smithfield on Wolfpack, on whatever is Wolfpack Way. I don't know whether the whole thing is or only part of it.
Probably turn into Bobcat Way eventually. Huh?
Well, I think that's exactly right. You know, it can
There might have to be like
Wolfpack
6 inches
for a
of
little
dirt
while.
Yeah.
to divide those two.
And then it'll be, you know, it's, anyway. So, just so you know that, and CMPO does a lot of work, in case you don't know, planning our transportation future. So, if you're ever curious, go to the CMPO website, look at the master plan, and it gives you an idea of where they plan to put roads in the future. And it's instructive as to how we're going to manage some of the traffic that exists and the people that want to go from point A to point B. So that's all.
Okay, thank you, Jeannie. We will now move on to our action items for the evening. And our first one is a public hearing on a budget adjustment. Rich is going to get some microphone time tonight, but we'll start with this one.
So this is a request to amend the fiscal year 26 budget. This is the final amendment. Request to appropriate $750,000 of electric fund reserves toward rooftop solar infrastructure associated with the Public Works campus project. Request to appropriate $8,801 for police overtime shifts. We do those fairly regularly. Request to appropriate $5,850,000 for the Public Works.
In grant funds.
What's that?
In grant funds.
In grant funds. The Public Works Department received from the COG for the 4th North and 6th West project. And lastly, a request to appropriate $4,630 grant funds for the fire department.
Any questions for Rich?
So can I ask?
Or clarifications?
I just want to ask for my own thought process. I understand that we allocate the money that we received from the COG because that's important, but we're not to the point where we would be doing anything with the solar infrastructure just yet. So why do we allocate it this fiscal year rather than wait until it's ready to be done?
Because we want to effect a PO, and I think we wanted to do that before the end of the year.
Okay,
So that we
so
have
the
all
purchase
everything.
order is all in place?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And we can't really do that other than if we did it in stages would be the only other way to deal with it.
Okay, that's fine, just needed to know.
Any further questions for Rich? This is a public hearing. Anyone from the public who has comments or questions on Resolution 26-23 is welcome to come to the microphone, state your name and city of residence, and please take 3 minutes or less. And I will open our public hearing.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
My name is Ernie Laram. I am a resident of Logan, student at USU, landscape architecture, and I was curious if there were any plans for changes in taxes going more for Parks and Rec department or development, I should say. Or any home income tax or taxes.
To not answer your question, to answer your question.
Yeah.
Partially because I don't want to take your, so right now we're just doing public comment on this specific resolution, so these budget appropriations. Maybe that's something that we can address during Resolution 2618.
Okay. I didn't know
about the
that.
general
This is
budget.
my
No,
first-
you're okay. And
it's my first time.
You should have seen my first time up here. It was a train wreck. Ask Jeannie. So I understand. But let's talk about that in Resolution 2618. So that's item F, 8F on your agenda. Is that
so
okay?
that's separate. Yeah. Okay.
That'll be
I
like
wasn't sure.
15 minutes,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
so we're keeping the public record clear and we're going through things.
No worries.
Are you okay with that?
I understand how it works now.
And I didn't catch your name at the beginning.
Ernie.
Ernie? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write your name next to 8F here and call you up. Okay, thank you, Ernie. Are there any other comments or questions on Resolution 2623? Okay, seeing none. Thank you for that, Ernie. We'll bring you up here in a minute and try to answer that for you. I'm gonna close the public hearing, bring it back to the council. Any further questions for Rich? There's a couple big ones on here, so I'll give you a moment if you have one. Nope, okay.
One
Oh,
quick
yep.
question.
Yeah.
Just remind me again on the 4th North and 6th West corridor, because we have the funds now, do we know when that will start taking place?
It's probably not until next fiscal year.
Next.
So early next.
Isn't that like 3 weeks away?
Okay.
Late next fiscal year.
Okay. Good to know.
Rich
Thank
says next fiscal year, and I'm like, are we like 14 days from next fiscal year? You're not gonna start in the next 14 days, Paul?
So this is the bad thing. We will see this again as a carry forward resolution. It's just, I like to get those in as soon as possible because if one invoice shows up, we don't have the budget to cover it. So I try to get those in as early as we can.
They'll carry it.
Because sometimes little things trickle in, but it's
Yeah.
part of the big project and we need the funds in order to move forward.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll move
Good
we
question,
approve
Melissa.
Resolution 26-23.
I will second.
Motion and second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Resolution 2623 passes. We'll move next to our next public hearing, item 8B, Resolution 2616, and we'll have our HR Director, Ambry, who's looking wonderful today. I liked the blazer. My wife popped in for a minute earlier, and she's shopping blazers, and she liked yours, so send me a link.
Wow, I didn't know we were fashion show.
Well, you know, you gotta keep budget hearings. She walked out of Ambry's office and was like, I liked it. I thought, well, I'll talk to Ambry in public.
Thank you.
Public record.
For the public record. Now I'm blushing. Sorry, guys.
Your wife
so-
might be blushing. She's watching on Zoom.
I'll get a text.
So this one is a resolution that we do bring before the council before every budget year. It's in regards to our contributions that we make on behalf of our employees to the Utah retirement systems. Did you want me to go into more detail on this one again, or?
Can you give me a 10-second for the public, since it is a public hearing?
Yes, yep, so what
I
this
know we
is.
went over it, but
So there's Tier 1 and Tier 2 members. Tier 1 members are those that are benefited with the Utah retirement systems before July of 2011. And then Tier 2s are those that are after. So this resolution is in regards to the pickup contributions that the city will pick up in the new budget year for those retirement contributions that we make on behalf of the employees.
So why is it that we have to do this every year?
Great question.
I think they require it. Doesn't the URS require that?
URS requires it and blames the IRS for it. So it's one of those 3-letter S words.
Better than
It really,
Better
that's the
than
best
4-letter
explanation we have. This is our practice and has been our practice for decades. But about 10, 12 years ago, the URS blamed the IRS and said we had to formalize the fact that we are picking up these retirement contributions.
I actually think it's important.
Sure.
Because I think it's important for people to know that what part of their compensation is benefits, and I think it's important for the public to know that we try to take care of our employees.
And I think it's really just to clarify and make sure no one is misunderstands and thinks somebody was supposed to do something they didn't do.
So,
Any further questions for Ambry before I open the public comments? Public hearing? Thank you, Ambry. This is a public hearing. Anyone from the public who would like to ask a question or comment on Resolution 2616 is welcome to come to the microphone, state your name and city of residence, and take 3 minutes or less. I expect lots of comments on this one. Seeing no one, will close our public hearing and bring it back to the council for a motion.
I move we approve Resolution 26-16.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution 2616 passes. We'll go back to Ambry for Resolution 2608. If you'll run us through this one and give us a little background for the public again as well.
This one's a little harder.
This one's even more fun. So this one is adopting the salary schedules for our elected officials as well as the salary schedules for our executive municipal officers, which are our department heads, our assistant department heads, and our managers. So for the elected officials, you guys do have to approve your own wage for the next budget year, which is very hard to do. But we do recommend that you guys do it. We recommend because of the work you guys put in as well as future work as well. For what our council members do. And then also it's to keep that position attractive for future individuals to run for council, because you guys do put in a lot of hard work, and so we do want individuals that are qualified to run in the future. And then again, the elected official, the executive municipal officers, that is something that Senate Bill 91 a couple years ago required that we present the pay scales for what our municipal officers would be paid in the next budget year as well.
So Amber, just so you know, when I ran for office, I didn't know anybody that they paid us. So I think that the remuneration should not be the driving force for being here. So that's just my statement.
A number of council members have said that.
And I agree with you, but it is hard to justify time away from your family and kids when it's free. So it does make it easier. I agree with you, and I'm not like double our wages for the public record.
Yeah,
but it is easier to look at my wife and be like, well, it is my second job, so.
I didn't know either. And then when I did learn at some point, I thought, oh, well, and when individuals would encourage me to consider it, and then I did learn about it, I thought, well, that makes it a little palatable, thinking about considering it, knowing, so, but I wasn't aware either. It is something that is, I think, approving your own compensation
it's awkward.
Is an awkward thing. I watched the school board go through this process, and a lot of discussion around those things as well. So I would also just mention that what we're asked to do is not atypical. It is what everyone
state law
has to do. So just so that people understand that as well, that the practice is not something that other municipalities are not having to do. I've heard people ask oh, why wouldn't they do it this way or that way? And so
blame the state again.
I'll also mention that.
Thank you, Embry. Any further questions before we open up the public hearing? Anyone from the public who would like to comment on Ordinance 2608 is welcome to come to the microphone, state your name, city of residence, Please take 3 minutes or less. And
Hi,
Gail's the first
I'm
one
Gail
there.
Hansen, and I live in Logan. And the commitment, the courage, and the humility that you guys bring is something that I've appreciated ever since I started paying attention. Having a decent recompense for the hours you put in makes it so that it's not just rich people. And that's important to me. People who have wealth and influence don't need to be protected. They can do it. They've got it. Us regular, everyday people need a voice. And I think you should be paid. And I think you should be paid pretty well. It keeps you honest, and it keeps the pool of people who are willing to do this among the humble. Thanks.
Thank you, Gail.
Thank you.
Any further comments from the public? Seeing no one, I will close the public hearing. And I do want to point out that this also has, yes, we do work, and maybe I should spend more time on my other real job, as I call it. But I also want to point out that all of our staff are getting their pay on here too, and they're the ones that are here, 6 o'clock listening to me say jokes on a Tuesday night.
And doing what we asked them.
And the amount of work that they put into it, and the number of times that I've popped into Russ's office in the past 3 weeks, and he's been in the middle of something, and I interrupt him, or Rich, all the others. I'm not going to start naming them, but they all put up with a lot, and they all work really hard, and they all work long hours, and I think it's important that I appreciate that, Gail, but I'm going to point the finger back at staff because they do 99.9% of the work here, and nobody sees them because they either don't show up or they sit in the back row over there. And so I think it's very important that we recognize them too. So thank you to them. And I'll shut up now. And if anyone has further comments or would like to make a motion.
I would motion to approve ordinance 26-08.
We have a motion, second?
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor of approving resolution 2608, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution 2608 passes. We'll now move on to a public hearing on budget transfers. Thank you, Ambry. I appreciate it. And we'll kick it back over to Rich again.
So this is a required public hearing as part of our overall budget process. It's required that when we transfer money from enterprise funds to the general fund, we have this public hearing. Prior to this public hearing, we have to notice for X amount of days every man, woman, and child who live within the boundaries of the city of Logan through our utility billing office. We notice them of this meeting. Assuming council approves this budget containing the transfers, we have to do another notice during the month of July where we send out again notices to everyone who has a utility bill, letting them know what was passed. So budget transfers have been a part of the Logan City, or transfers from enterprise funds have been a part of Logan City budget process for a very, very long time. I've been saying it's 20 plus years, but I've been saying that for 20 plus years. So 20 plus, 40 plus, 50 plus years, it's been a part of the budget. Back in, I believe it was 2016, the council passed a resolution governing how these were to be, rather, the council updated a resolution governing how these transfers were to work. We transfer 5.5% of budgeted revenue from our sewer treatment fund, 7% from water, 8% from our electric fund, and our environmental health fund. In publicly owned utilities, the owners, the stockholders, receive dividends for the benefit, as the benefit from holding that stock. Our citizens receive the benefit of having these enterprise funds in a similar way. Their dividend is lower property taxes than they otherwise have to pay for the same amount of service. These are contemplated as part of every rate study that we conduct for each one of those separate enterprise funds, and they are carefully regulated by the council, as I said previously. Again, without these transfers, we'd have to raise property taxes significantly. So I do believe that this is a good way to fund all of the general services that we have, public safety, including fire and police, Parks and Recreation, General Government, Public Works, Community Development, who did I leave out? Finance?
Legal.
Part of General Government. It does fund all the services that we provide as a city, and it does help keep property taxes low. Part of the reason for that is property taxes apply to taxable property within the boundaries of the city of Logan. But we have a significant amount of our property, including property owned by federal government, state government, county government, city government.
And churches.
Nonprofits.
Nonprofits, hospitals, USU. Much of our property here in Logan is non-taxable, so those entities do not pay property tax. But they do pay utilities, and therefore they pay this transfer to the city of Logan. It helps us to sustain the services we're providing without overburdening only those who pay property taxes. We estimated some time ago that for every dollar we decrease transfers, we'd have to increase taxes by $2.40 because of the difference in the number of taxable properties in the city of Logan. Cache County does not track that, so we can't perfectly calculate this, however, that's our estimate. So I do think it's an appropriate way to fund our city, and I've asked the council approve this by approving the budget after this public hearing.
How common is this in Utah? And can you give us examples of other cities in the state?
So, not all cities, but almost all cities that have an electric utility utilize transfers. Many are higher than us. I can't remember, at one time I did some research, but most are somewhere around the 10 to 12% range, and we've decreased ours to about 8%. Part of this as well is a requirement that we discuss admin fees, but admin fees are not transfers. Transfers are a movement of cash without any kind of compensation. Admin fees, on the other hand, much of the services we provide to those business type funds, those enterprise funds, many of the services we provide, like utility billing, like shops and garage, like legal, HR, all of those services are centralized in the general fund, so we bill them for those services as well, those administrative services. So I just need to sneak that in there as well. Sorry. Hope that answered your question.
Thank you.
Any further questions for Rich?
So just a random question, but when you say for each dollar that is transferred, it would cost the resident like $2.40 or whatever. Do we know what that total amount is that you transfer?
Yeah.
I mean, I look at there's a bunch of numbers on here, and
it's 4 points. It's about 7
Can you
million.
say
Yeah,
about
say it's closer to 7.
Roughly.
Okay.
4.7 million.
So you can do the math then.
7.0 million.
Yeah. Okay.
I know, I should put a total in here.
That's all right. Thank you.
Which a million's $50 on 50 something on a median household.
Yeah.
So 50 times 7. I'm not doing that math publicly. I just stopped. Any other questions for Rich?
We are really smart.
Okay, we're going to open the public hearing. This is a public hearing. You'll notice it's not an action item because, as Rich mentioned, this would be part of the budget approval, which is our last public hearing for the evening. But if you have comments or questions or concerns on this specific part of the budget, we do have a public hearing for it. You're welcome to come to the microphone, state your name, city of residence, and take 3 minutes or less. And I will open the microphone up to the public. I would wait for the next one, Ernie. Can we do that? If it's the same comment?
What's that?
Same comment? Or similar?
Yeah, well, one question, could you go over the
Sorry, if you're going to ask a question, let's have you come to the microphone so that everyone can hear. Is that okay? Yeah, if you have a question about this transfer, you're more than welcome to come up. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. You mentioned the, it's similar to what you had said, the transfer funds is $1 compared to, as if it was taxed, it was $2.47 on average. And then annually, that was how much again?
It's about $7 million, and I didn't state it very eloquently. Let me try one more time.
I was trying to get it down, and I couldn't.
Yeah. For every dollar we decrease transfers, and these transfers are $7 million, we'd have to increase property taxes by $2.40 in order to compensate.
Because we have so much property that is not taxable.
That's correct. So every dollar it goes down. So in other words, through property taxes, we'd have to raise $7 million, but on those who pay it, it'd be $2.40 as opposed to the $1 they decreased.
And real quickly, would you explain again how those transfer fees work? Is that, where does that dollar come, where's that coming from?
So it's an accounting mechanism. Yeah, let me maybe, I wish I had this here. It works out to be, I'll just hit the big one. From electric, it's $4,156,000. So we budget that at the beginning of the year, and then monthly we transfer 1/12 of that from the electric fund to the to the general fund. And we do that through the miracle of accounting.
A bank transfer.
Yeah.
Okay.
But everyone pays their utility bill, their electric bill in the city,
Yes.
including all the nonprofits and the university and all the government buildings. They pay their power bill, and that money goes to the electric fund, which is a separate fund of the city. And then we transfer a portion of that to the general fund to pay for the roads and the fire and the police.
A small portion.
Yeah, a portion, a very small portion, but those entities aren't paying property tax that would normally fund roads, fire, police, and other.
Yeah.
But they do pay electric, so we're funding a portion of that with that electric bill.
Does
that make sense?
Yeah, it's a pretty good way of doing it. I'm just learning all this stuff, so how many different entities are there that we pull from for that administrative?
Just 4. We pull from our electric fund, which is the largest, and that's $4 million. We pull from our water fund at 7%, and that's $1.3 million. We pull from our sewer treatment fund, 5.5%, and that's $745,000. And we pull from the environmental health fund, which is the garbage pickup fund, which is $1.1 million. And many years ago, when we were collecting trash around the entire county, that was larger. But we've since slimmed down and sharpened our focus, and so that's a smaller amount to the general fund. But that's okay.
And what about like gas? That's a separate entity too. But that's more, isn't that privately?
Gas tax.
So we do have a gas tax that comes into the general fund directly, and
that's distributed by the state, though. State collects it.
And there are 2 different amounts, and I could look those up. It's about $3 million for Class C funds, and then transportation funds about 1.4-ish.
The Class C's for roads, right?
But that's where the gas tax comes from. It's Class C.
Okay.
Okay.
I do want to. Yeah.
Thank you.
No, and do you have any other questions, Ernie? I kind of feel like we interrupted, so I want to make sure that you got.
No. That's just a little more clear.
Thank you.
I had the same sort of questions.
Also, Ernie, this, if you find the agenda on the Logan City website, the links, the hyperlinks will take you to that detail listing out those budget items, so if you wanted to revisit that.
I was going to actually ask that afterwards.
Yeah, so if the blue highlight, they're actually hyperlinks that will take you to those, so you can look at those.
Okay, perfect, yeah. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ernie. Any other public comments or questions on our transfers? Seeing none, feels weird not to call a vote. We'll move to our property tax impact schedule, and let Rich read this. This one does not have a public hearing as well, but obviously you can make a comment on this during the budget portion in just a moment. So,
items E and F are kind of the same thing. However, this is a new requirement from the state of Utah this past year that we make available and present this schedule to the public. I want to remind everyone here that this schedule, the property tax impact schedule, is available in the back of the room on the table. It is also available on our finance department website under financial information. You can see this. Yeah. I'll just read this because we are required to present that, and I don't know what those requirements
Just read it.
actually
Nope.
are. So I'm just going to read this, and that will mean that we present it. City of Logan is considering levying a property tax rate that exceeds the certified tax rate. The fiscal year 2027 proposed budget includes a property tax rate increase as follows. A, the approximate dollar amount of additional ad valorem tax revenue that would be generated for the City of Logan is $1.360 million. The approximate percentage increase in tax revenue for the City of Logan is 22.88%. The approximate the approximate percentage increase to the amount of property tax paid in total, not just to the City of Logan, on an average residence is 0%, and I'll explain that in just 1 minute. The approximate percentage increase in the amount of property tax paid in total, not just to the City of Logan, on an average commercial property is 0%. The Cache County Ordinance 2026-23 reduces the Cache County general levy for fire service. It is intended that the City of Logan proposed property tax increase will not increase the overall property taxes paid by Logan residents. Amounts that were paid to Cache County for fire service would instead be paid to Logan City to be used for fire service, primarily. The additional property tax dollars are proposed to be used as follows. In our non-departmental area, to fund additional street lighting utility expenses for $54,614. Operational impact, non-departmental will be able to pay the full cost of calculated street lighting utility fees to the electric department. The police department, fund a police officer 1 position for $131,086. Operational impact, the police department will be able to fund 1 additional position, otherwise it would have to be eliminated from the proposed budget you'll see in a moment. The fire department, fund the ongoing operational cost of new Station 73 in the northwest area for $1,174,300. Operational impact, the fire department would be able to fund the operational cost of new Station 73. Otherwise, Logan would either have to reduce service in another area of the budget or reduce the fire service. This is for a total of $1,360,000.
Thanks for reading that, Rich. Any questions for Rich? I know you've all seen this, but...
And this will be part of the focus of the public hearing in the next part.
On the next slide.
We'll be able to speak there.
Yeah.
So Rich, I do have one question. You have, in this paper, there is an ordinance listed for Cache County.
Yes.
Is that ordinance officially presented? Is it in process? What is its status?
So I say that Cache County officially adopted it. The Utah State Tax Commission is where we approve our rates. It is officially entered in the tax record. It is now listed as a separate tax levy, and they have decreased their general levy, meaning the Cache County has decreased their general levy. I believe it's already passed as far as they are concerned. It's already a done deal. The only question is now, what does Logan City adopt as their tax rate?
So they have passed the reduction of their general levy officially in a Cache County Council meeting.
They have, and it has been officially entered into the tax rate system. All of that is maintained by the state of Utah and Cache County.
Okay.
So we have access, I have access, and I've looked it up and I saw it there. I don't know what ability, if any, the county or any other entity would have to change that. I don't believe there is any at this point.
Okay.
However, I'm not the guru of all gurus, so I don't know what I don't know.
Right.
How dare you?
My only little nervousness about this is that we aren't doing something in addition to the county keeping their tax.
Agreed.
So that's the only thing. I just want to make sure that when we have truth in taxation, we are pretty dang certain that they've reduced theirs.
Yes.
And that's the same conversation I've bluntly had with Rich a few times, and Craig as of recently.
And maybe I can just, for the public's sake, kind of clearly state what is happening. Cache County is reducing their general levy on Logan, on the entire county.
Can I interrupt you?
Specifically on Logan residents.
Explain it like we don't work in government. What is it? What is a general levy? Like, can you explain this like a little bit more? I know you're an accountant, but let's use not levies.
Well, you're explaining the zeros
Right.
that you were talking about.
Right. So Cache
Sorry.
County is reducing what they're charging Logan residents for property tax. The reason is they were charging Logan residents for fire services that Logan residents were not receiving. We all think that is a really good thing. It's proposed that Logan will increase our rate by just less than the amount that Cache County is reducing their rate, so that a Logan resident will pay approximately the same amount that they paid this year that they paid last year in property taxes in total. That amount of increase Logan City is proposing is $1.360 million. It's our intent that we will take that additional funding and build the Northwest Fire Station, which we need to build. It's not the exact amount, but it's really pretty darn close. Now, we're also proposing that we hire one police officer and we pay some minimal utility fees, but the majority of that is for fire service, so we can open Station 73, which we currently do not have in the Northwest area. We've known that this station was going to need to be built at some point. I knew it as finance director for the last 20 years. We've been talking about it. I had no way of funding it other than a gigantic property tax increase on Logan City residents. Well, because Cache County reduced their property taxes, it's not just a great opportunity, but it is a perfect solution for a problem that I had no answer for. That is building Station 73. And what it does do is Logan residents pay approximately the same amount they paid last year for property taxes. In other words, even though Logan is getting 22.88% more tax revenue, because Cache County reduced how much they're going to collect, it's not going to feel like a rate increase to our citizens. So we're proposing that we keep that tax revenue that Cache County is reducing, and we open Station 73 with it. I think it's the best and highest use we could have for these funds that were being used for fire service. We continue to use them for fire service in Logan City. And it plugs this hole that we have for Station 73, and for the most part, makes us whole and increases our ability to respond to fire and everything else that the chief can explain to us for the foreseeable future. This would be a good thing for Logan residents.
And I think it's important to say that Logan residents were already paying this for fire services, but they were paying this to the county, who doesn't provide fire services to Logan City. So you were paying this for fire that
you weren't getting.
Nobody, like, they were using on the county, not on us. And so we're just accounting it for it essentially here.
Yeah.
For Logan Fire Services for you.
What somebody will see when they open their property tax bill is they should see Cache County going down, the line item for Cache County General Fund, and Logan City going up. But in total, it should remain relatively flat. Now, I'm saying should and relatively on average. The reason for that is property tax revenue is controlled at the municipal level, meaning Logan City receives the same amount it received in the prior year. That's what property tax, truth and taxation does. It controls at the Logan City level. However, there are so many details that affect what an individual property tax payer is going to pay that it's hard to guarantee that that's exactly what they're going to see on their property tax schedule. However, unless they finish their basement, unless their area was reassessed, unless something significant happened in their neighborhood, what they should see is property tax for Cache County go down by approximately $59, Logan City go up by approximately $59.
On a median house.
That's on a $530,000 house, which is the median single-family home, which is remarkable. That's incredible.
That's another topic.
And that's mind-blowing.
Katie, you had a...
You covered what I was going to say, but I would also just add, in a previous meeting, the fire chief also has shared, and you can find those documents as far as the need for the new station. the challenges that they've had in terms of response times to that northwestern area of Logan, and all of the sort of the concerns, the rationale, the information, so you can, that information is out there. It's not just something that's being stated here.
And to make it easier, if you want all those slides, send me an email and I will send you 40 pages of PDFs that you can read on. Chief's laughing because to be blunt, when this was originally proposed, I maybe freaked out a little bit and said there's no way in heck I'm raising our taxes 22.88%. And that was a big stick in the mud. But I do think the justification is there. And if you want that information, my email's mike.johnson@loganutah.gov. Everyone else's is the exact same with their names.
Except me. Except Jeannie.
Except for Jeannie. Do you want to share yours publicly?
I've never noticed.
But you are welcome to email me, and I will share that information with you if you have concerns about the reason
And
for
it's on the
this.
video.
It is.
YouTube, like you
It
can
is,
see
but
the
sometimes
past
it's harder to
meetings, but,
scrub through. So, Ernesto.
Could some households be caught in the crossfire?
Yes.
And actually see an increase in their property tax?
Only if their home is reevaluated.
Yeah.
I like that.
Again, this truth in taxation is meant to control Logan City and how much it gets. It doesn't control as well how much individual property tax payers pay. Here's the general idea. As property values go up, the rate goes down to give Logan City the same amount it got in the prior year. That's how it works. But unfortunately, my home was reassessed not terribly long ago, and because my value goes up and somebody else's value maybe stays the same, and because that rate changes just a little bit, I end up paying a whole lot more, and that neighbor whose value didn't change ends up paying less overall. It's the way truth in taxation works, and it's hard. And I don't love it.
Well, and I'll just add that, because I didn't understand this a couple of years ago, that, and I'll try to use accounting terms, but our property tax is a budget base. Is that revenue driven?
Yeah.
Is that the correct term?
Yeah.
But like we get the same amount of dollars, which is what you're saying. And so it makes it so we can budget for payroll and projects. Like Logan City gets X dollars every year. As values go up, rate goes down.
Yes.
But
There's
dollar
no
amount to the
money.
city stays the same.
There's no increase in money to account for inflation. That does not exist in truth in taxation. It's the same dollar amount we got in the prior year.
Outside of growth.
Outside of new people who
Right.
moved in who need services.
Right.
That's the way this works.
Well, new houses that were built.
Right.
New houses that were built.
New development.
And as far as the,
It's a really convoluted. It makes sense that like you get the same budget so you can pay your payroll and plan on it.
Yeah.
But it's a really convoluted way to do it. But I actually don't know a better way to do it. So
There's California Prop 13, and they fix the house value, and then the only thing that changes is the rate. That makes it super understandable for the person who owns the home. But right now, they're discussing that person that bought their home in 1953 and has this lower rate, and how are they going to be able to sustain their fire service or any other services under that law? There's no perfect law.
There's no perfect.
Ours has its own loopholes. Unfortunately, we'll have to deal with it, and we will have some of those, and there's nothing we can do to combat it.
They did a really good job the other day at the Utah League Lunch talking about this and how it evolved, and it made it much more clear. And I think it also makes your point, which is every year or every couple of years, a city should consider a small increase because that keeps their revenue up with some level of inflation. But like you said, we get the same dollars. If we do nothing, we get, if we got $100 10 years ago and we never made a change, we would still only get $100. Even if the houses were worth 4 times as much, we'd still only get $100.
Yeah.
So I think that in this case, we hope that taking the money that was being used by the county, not for the benefit of Logan City, and making that money work for the benefit of Logan City residents is the right answer.
And before, no, I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing you there.
To Ernesto's question about the crossfire, and I mean, maybe it was answered, but, and this is getting super in the weeds, but I think we've already gone there.
It's deep.
We're down in the dirt. We're down, as far as this properties getting reassessed and how that happens, I think that there's nothing about what is happening here with budgetarily with that shift from
Cache County.
the lowering from Cache County and the increase of Logan that would have any bearing on reassessments of properties and that process happens regardless. So if you're going to, if this weren't even being considered and your property happened to be reassessed, you would have an increase in your property taxes regardless of whether.
Not related to this.
Not related to this. So I just wanted to make that clear in case that was.
You know, one other point I need to bring up is just we also can't control other entities. And there is a school district, there's a county, and there are various other small services that are provided by both entities that could be part of someone's property tax bill. We can't control those, and I don't actually know what Cache County School or Logan City School is doing. Cache County School also affects some of our constituents as well. So.
And I always usually remember this number, but I'm forgetting it tonight, and I know you'll remember it. I always like to remind the total amount of our property tax that is Logan City.
11%?
It's 11%.
11%. So your total property tax bill.
So of the 22%, if Cache County wasn't doing anything, their property tax bill would go up 11% of 22.88, or closer to like 3%. That's the magnitude in total that we're actually talking about.
I do feel like there's a little bit
Can you make a chart? Like,
I do feel like there's been a little bit of justification here, but I think it's because we all.
I think we need to justify.
But I think we all struggled so heavily with this when it was originally.
Yeah.
When Mayor Anderson first proposed this to me, I maybe threw up in a garbage can in the corner. Like I was not happy with it.
You weren't.
You weren't. Everyone's like, no, Mike wasn't.
We spent 2.5 hours standing talking about it.
Yeah.
One day.
Listening to Mike rant and yell, and so I think that's why we're all like, okay, this is why, because we didn't like it either. Did we want? I mean, nothing on fire. It's just a hard one.
Question on the police department position. It says here the police department will be able to fund one additional position. Otherwise, it would have to be eliminated.
Take it out of the budget.
Eliminated from the budget.
No, I'll pick better words next year.
Thank you.
Because if you don't have it, how would you eliminate it?
Why didn't you just say that
We
on
would
there?
execute the position.
All right.
Rich, you are going to get yourself in trouble.
Moving on, unless there's anything else for Rich. Okay, we'll move on to Rich again and this one will be a public hearing, and I feel like this one or the next one is if you have comments on this. This is budget and tax increase, so you're welcome to comment on this property tax increase here. But Resolution 2618, Rich, will you give us a short little, we've beat this one enough?
Yes.
And then we'll do a public hearing.
I think you could just say we're going to have a public hearing about what you read.
It is, and
I know.
the rate that we are adopting, because we are required to adopt a rate, is 0.001085 for the city of Logan. That includes the library levy, the general fund levy, as well as the increase in property taxes, which we have hopefully discussed in detail.
Do you want to discuss it again?
No.
Any questions for Rich before I open this public hearing? Because I'm sure a few people are here for this. This is a public hearing. If you have questions, comments, concerns, or thoughts on Resolution 26-18, you are welcome to come to the microphone, state your name, city of residence, and please take 3 minutes or less. And I'll open that public hearing now. You sit there, so I assume that you're going to.
Gail Hansen, Lynn Logan. As far as the increase in property taxes, as a homeowner, I have learned that if you have adequate fire service, your insurance rate goes on down. So this could actually make insurance cheaper for people on the west side, and they will be happy. That's all I have to say.
Not only on the west side, potentially everywhere. We'll see what happens. We're currently at a level 2. We could, with a 4th station within Logan, because of the synergies and other things, it could possibly go down for everyone. But there's no question for those on the west side.
Yeah.
Would it be safe to say maybe,
Can we do a public hearing? Is that okay? Sorry, I just want to make sure the public, we have talked a lot about this, so I just want to make sure the public has time to, if there's anyone else that would like to comment on this, okay.
This is the one that you were going to have Ernie come.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I do have Ernie's name written here, but I feel like we talked about a little bit before. Do you have more questions on this one, Ernie? I'm gonna call you out. Okay, you're good. Okay, I'm gonna close the public hearing. Sorry, Ernesto. Take it away.
thank you for keeping us in order. Yeah, I was just gonna say, sometimes it's probably hard to promise a decrease on insurance premiums, but maybe keeping them a little from increasing. Is that a better way of?
Yeah, we can't control the premiums. However, if we have a much more qualified department or a level certification, that it overall would be less than it otherwise would be.
We definitely can't control insurance. Any other questions for Rich on the tentatively approving a certified property tax rate resolution 2618? And obviously this will go to Truth and Taxation on August 11th, so you are welcome to come on August 11th at 6 p.m. here in the council chambers if you have more questions or concerns.
I move we approve resolution 26-18.
Jeannie says, Mike, stop talking.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor of resolution 2618, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution
Can I
2618
interject one thing at this point? We've already
passes.
mentioned it, but it is important that we mention this is now tentatively adopted. We will have a final adoption on August 11th. We
You weren't
have a
listening to
public
me.
hearing for the final adoption on August 11th at 6 p.m. We just have to put
That's
that
what I
in.
just said. You weren't listening. Sorry. Jeannie was saying go, and I said.
Perfect.
Jeannie.
It's about the next one.
Okay. Rich, 2617. Hit our budget for us.
So tentative budget, the amount of the budget is $222,136,462. From the mayor's proposed budget, there are several minor changes and a couple of really large changes. Obviously, the $1,174,300 for Station 73. I have finalized the general fund and library property tax levies, and there are minor decreases in those levies because of I have to estimate and then I get the actual dollar amounts. It was remarkably close, but nonetheless not perfect. I have rebalanced the general fund and
Did you
library.
say, sorry, did general fund and library went down?
Down from the mayor's budget about 20,000 in the general
Okay, so
fund
not
and
much.
about 15,000 in the library. So I had to just rebalance those budgets because we do have to pass balanced budgets.
Okay.
A combined, this is just a minor change, but it's a nerdy accounting thing, but I've combined the real property tax and the personal property tax levy into one line item called property tax. I should have done that 20 years ago. I don't know why I've kept them separate, so hopefully you don't mind that. Didn't change the numbers, just combined them into one line item. Made the other line item zero.
Where was the 174,300 allocated within the fire department budget?
So because of that new law, House Bill 236, I put it in the revenue and then I have to put it in a restricted expense account until, assuming we adopt it on August 11th, I can release it from that restricted expense account and put it in the fire department budget. So I can't put it there yet. I have to put it in, it's account 395, our reserve fund. I have to put
Does it stay there?
No, as soon as we adopt it on August 11th, it will go into the fire department budget.
how do we ensure that it is spent for what we are intending to spend it for?
Thank you, Jeannie.
Yeah.
It absolutely will be used. I don't know how to answer that.
From a budgetary standpoint, can there be?
We wanted it in, I wanted it in a reserve account, specifically
separate
for capital projects related to the fire department.
So it will be put, assuming it's passed and it moves into the fire department, it will be put in the capital projects fund to be, well, it's actually the contract funds will be put there for the fire station. And it does have the words fire contract revenue next to it.
Contract funds, what do you mean by that?
I know, potato, this is super complex.
I'm sorry, I should.
No, I know. But the funds that in theory we'll receive from North Logan, we're putting.
No,
Sorry, Jeannie's talking about the tax increase
I'm talking about
funds.
the tax increase only.
I know, and I don't know how else to explain it.
Oh, okay.
I know.
You just changed gears on, we were like, wait, different money.
So those funds go into the fire department
Are they?
to pay for the personnel for Station 73.
Are they, no, the money was to build Station 73.
Initially.
Yeah, okay. I'm just trying to figure out how to best explain it. We also have contracts with other cities.
I know
And what I've
that.
done is taken those funds and put them in the capital projects fund to be used for the building of Station 73.
So you're doing
Yes.
this
Yeah.
because
You're doing a swap.
Yes, because it makes more sense to do it that way.
right because you're I get it.
Unless,
So the 1.1 is going straight to
74?
personnel.
Yes. And the contract revenue, which is the same dollar amount,
right.
because that's the money that's available, goes to the capital projects fund to be used for the building of Station 73.
okay, we may have to have an argument about that, but that's okay.
I know, if I didn't have
I
to,
didn't want to have an argument in public.
I know, if I didn't have to reserve those funds until August 11th, I could do it differently. But because I have to reserve those funds, because if council does not pass that at August 11th, we have to cut those funds from the budget. They have to be removed.
Right.
And so,
About next year.
what's that?
About next year.
Next year, they'll be part of the budget, and hopefully we'll have a
Because
station.
the tax rate's gone up.
And they would be under capital.
They would be under the fire station budget paying for fire personnel.
Because at that
Oh,
point,
yeah,
the
fire
fire
station.
station.
So it stays
at
in
that point-
personnel. Okay.
Let's you and I talk afterwards. I can show you why.
Yeah, I'm having a little trouble with this.
I can
right now.
show you why. But
Okay.
it's paid for the.
Because
paid-
the original concept was that this money would go to build the station first,
It is,
and then would go to sustain the station once it was built.
and that's exactly what will happen.
But you are instead using it to pay people that may or may not be a part of the new station.
They will be a part of the new station.
No, if they are essentially contract employees at this particular moment, and you are moving them into a different category.
Okay. Let me show you, because we're getting into the
Yeah.
nerdy how-to.
I know.
Let me show
I'm
you
sorry.
how, or how I accounted for it, but they're being set aside for the fire station.
Okay.
And I think ultimately
I mean, Jeannie, if you have questions, we need to make sure we answer them before we approve budget.
Let me state it
To the
this
point, at least to the point that you're comfortable with a budget. So,
Let me state it this way to give you some assurance.
don't.
The funds are being moved to the capital projects fund. They can't be appropriated without council. In other words, they can't be spent without council approving they be spent. They're being moved, but they're not being spent. Does that give you more assurance? They can't be spent for anything. So if we bring a resolution tomorrow to spend capital projects fund, you can say, these are not the fire department funds. We'd say, no, those are not the fire department funds. We can show you that we have those set aside. Does that give you more assurance?
Yes and no.
Part of it is,
part of it's a conceptual conversation that we've had over and over again, but involves, I mean,
I know where Jeannie's coming from. We've had this conversation to the point where you're tired of me walking into your office. So
I can show you the new law complicates life because we have to reserve those funds.
I totally understand that part.
And so what I had to do is pull them out of the fire department budget in order to reserve them. I can't pull them out of the fire department budget and put them as a transfer to the capital projects fund. I can't have them in both places. I can show you in the budget document, and I wrestled with it as well. And so instead, if I take the contract revenue and put that in the capital projects fund, it can be part of the budget already. I can pull these funds out of the fire department budget and still reserve them and meet the state law requirement.
but sorry, Ernesto, go.
So is there no restriction in moving the contracted money for a different purpose? And, I mean, usually it takes us years to build something. You make it sound like we're gonna build it right away.
As we kind of discussed, we have $60 million appropriated for the Public Works campus building. We're earning interest at the rate of 4% off of that $60 million. So I'm not really good at math in public. Let's say $2 million of interest is being accumulated within the capital projects fund. Council has stated in our last public hearing, or not our public hearing, when we last discussed this, that we wanted that station to be priority one, that those funds be used for it. So if we allocate those funds toward it, we're substantially progressing toward the point where we could build the new station. I don't know the exact timeline, but sometime in the next 2 years.
And once that station is built, this 1.174,300 will go straight to operating costs, personnel costs for that station. So initially it's going to build the station and then it's going straight to operating costs.
Except for right now, it's going right back into the station for operating costs. And the contract money is being moved out, which is less.
No, the contract money is the exact same amount.
It's the same amount.
We're putting, if you'll just confirm for me, we are putting $1.174 million of contract money aside right now, as soon as this is passed, into reserves to build and fund that station, correct?
Approximately, yes. It's either 1154 or 1174.
It's either 1154 or 117. Okay, so it's a difference of $20,000.
$20,000 because of the difference between the contract and the.
I've made fun of my wife 3 times tonight. We have to define approximately, because when I say I'm buying something approximately, it's different than her. So roughly within $20,000. That money will be going to capital for the station.
Yes.
In addition to the roughly $2.4 million a year we're getting in
If we
interest.
continue to have a contract.
Roughly, yes.
If we continue to have a contract, yes.
And none of that can be spent without council appropriating those funds.
But if we continue to have a contract.
And that contract is variable. I mean, it could end at any moment.
So that's why I want this money in the fund that doesn't pay, that builds the station.
It's semantics.
I know it's semantic.
The same dollar amount.
It isn't.
Dollars are fungible.
But it isn't semantics if things change. It's no longer semantics if things change.
But it's not changing.
So-
It's exactly what you're asking for. It's just I'm asking for the flexibility to make it happen with
Can I ask a question?
the new law.
Of course you do. You're in charge.
No, I'm not. Jeannie, if contracts change and that budget change, what would it take from the finance department to make this more comfortable for you? Does that make sense? Like, if we lose, what would we have to do to make this more comfortable? Am I asking my question? Because I understand your concern and share a lot of it.
So how come are you comfortable?
Because I'm comfortable the contract's not going to change in the next few months.
Just clarify what the contract.
So for any of this to be, for some of the fears that Jeannie is sharing, a change would have to happen at the contract level with some of with North Logan, I think is what you said.
Which probably will not happen for the next year.
And so it would have to
The station
happen.
we built.
Yeah.
So it would have to happen like when, for anything to be at risk of being different than what we're discussing?
I don't think any of this is at risk because they need a 12-month window according to the contract, but I don't think that'll change. In other words, that 1.174 is going to be there in the capital projects fund for the building of the station. After that time frame, though, they could quit at any moment.
But at that point, we'll have the station built.
We would hope.
And we'll be funding the station.
We would hope.
With
Yes.
this 1.174.
Yeah, that's the.
Not we would hope, we'll be
Exactly.
funding the station.
And we would not be at the mercy of, which is one of the silver linings of this is. So the contract with North Logan and providing fire service supports.
How confuses the public, right?
Employees, our fire, some of our fire staff. I don't know the exact number, 7? I'm not sure how many. 10, okay. Supports 10. But this is the concern of if the contract were to change, we've got 10 employees that we are currently not, we do not currently have ongoing budgeted funding for. This would change that. And it would provide security for us to ensure that our employees are funded in addition to the capital project. So that's, I keep talking about contract and people are probably, what are you talking about contract? That's the contract. Verification. Does that make sense?
Because I asked that at some point. I think Ernesto has a question.
I think you might have already answered this, so maybe it's just confirmation for me. The contract money that is being moved from wherever it is to move the money around that would be coming in.
General fund capital.
It's going to, yeah, that was my question. Is it going to a restricted account within the fire department, or is it a restricted account within the general fund?
It's the capital projects fund, which is committed for capital. And a commitment can be changed only by council.
Because you and I have had this conversation. You remember this one? Maybe. We've had so much about this. Because I said the same thing. I said, how can we restrict this fund to, like if we're raising taxes for fire, like we're taking county fire money and raising Logan taxes to pay for fire, how do we make sure that money goes to fire and isn't used for a park or a bike lane, right? Which are good things, but if that's what we're raising taxes for and that's what we're saying publicly needs to go there. And what you told me was, well, the 5 of you pick where money goes. And my word to you was...
So unless you don't trust yourselves.
Well, my word to you was, anytime we're pulling money out, you need to be very clear, which you generally are, but like exceptionally clear until this fire station is built.
Yeah.
If we pull anything out of or change anything in the general fund capital projects, and it affects the timeline for fire, we need to be very clear on that so that we know if we're making a decision that affects that. Because at the end of the day, it's our choice. And Rich has committed to me personally that you will be very clear that if we're changing that timeline around, you will look at me and say, Mike, you're being an idiot. You said you wouldn't do this. Please don't do this. Correct.
I would also imagine Chief Thompson is going to hold us accountable for ensuring that those dollars are spent and fire where they need to be spent. Because if I were the department head and had that revenue opportunity to ensure capital or employees, I would also be, so that's another, I guess,
check.
Assuming that the budget is adopted, we could come forward to council and say we want to use some of those funds to design a station, to buy property, to do whatever. And we would let you know.
And you could come and say we want to use it for something else.
Yeah.
And hopefully we would look at them and say, no,
well,
this is what's
we
for.
would tell you.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
And really, if we ever appropriate from the capital projects fund, your question should be, how are we coming along with the plans for the station? Now, I don't anticipate we will because we've spent everything we have on the public works building. But if there was some small dollar amount coming forward out of the capital projects fund, you should ask, how are we doing with the station?
All right, Paul, you can work it out with Chief. No, just teasing.
How are you feeling, Jeannie?
In the interest of time, I'll be fine.
You know I'm willing to stay up all night. like if you have concerns, I want to make sure that we have them addressed and we feel comfortable. And I'll be blunt, I'll continue it if you feel like you need, like.
We can't.
I know Rich just fell out of his chair. We can't, but we can.
We can't.
We cannot.
You have to make a decision today. Otherwise, we close up shop and tell
We
the
could continue it for a week and hold a special meeting next week.
I think
It's a state
Friday is the drop dead.
Are we on F?
In the interest of
Yes.
time, I'm
G.
fine.
G. We're on G.
We're in G.
I'm fine. It'll work out.
Okay.
Can you tell me what
Because I
is
know I've had that
roughly
one
the
covered
balance on that capital projects fund?
I mean, we really cleared it out.
Unobligated.
Unobligated
Is the
interest revenue, so 2 million plus anything that we're receiving this current year. There is some fire contract revenue in the current year that's going there, 800,000-ish. I don't have an exact balance, but I will at the end of this fiscal year.
So in 2 weeks.
Would you tell us,
Sure.
please?
Sure.
Thank you.
That was the balance for the capital fund?
Yeah,
Yeah,
what
general
the
fund
money
capital.
will be going into from that contract.
Public Works wanted new
So
buildings.
then
we
we'll know
don't
when
have
you
much.
ask for 10 million out of the capital fund that we don't have it. It's
Yeah.
coming from somewhere else.
That is correct as far as I know.
Okay, I'm good.
Does anyone else have questions for
Sorry.
Rich? No. I have taken a long time on issues before, and I appreciate, I know you spend a lot of time on this outside the meeting too, so I'm always happy to.
Just
Give
my
you time.
expectations were different than the reality. So, it's okay.
Okay. This is a public hearing, so for any of you that aren't confused right now, and have comments or questions, and I know some people are waiting patiently back there for our workshop items, but anyone from the public that would like to comment on Resolution 2617, this is our budget for the entire fiscal year next year for the city. You're welcome to come to the microphone, state your name, city of residence, and take 3 minutes or less. And the microphone is open.
I'm Gail Hansen, I live in Logan, and I appreciate the many, many, many decisions that are made through consensus in this council. I also appreciate the consensus is not required. And it's not more valuable than a divided decision. In societies where consensus is required, people shut up and don't have a voice. So I appreciate the opportunity that you each have to vote your conscience. And I didn't look at the budget this year like I did last year. Last year I was on it. And I'm so appreciative of the staff work that gets done in all the departments. So I just wanted to add that.
Thank you, Gail. Seeing no one else coming up, we will close the public hearing. And thank you, Gail. I have voted no on a budget before over a small issue. And to some extent, I felt like a crazy person voting no on the entire budget over a little thing that I didn't love. But sometimes that's what you do, you know, but I appreciate your comment. Any other comments, questions, concerns from the council before we call for a motion?
One comment is that I wish, given that the county was decreasing their levies for Logan, on property taxes, that we could say, oh, we're going to give Logan residents a tax break. But knowing the things that we know, the statistics that have been shared with us from the fire department on the needs, the growth that we've seen on the west side, I think it would be neglectful for us to not plan ahead and to use this as an opportunity to fund it this way. So thank you for thinking of those things. I know matters of big numbers in budget are not easy, and I appreciate all the work that goes into it.
I know that was my initial thought was, great, let's give them a little bit of a tax break.
And then I approve
and then I-
resolution 26-17.
I hadn't called for a motion yet. I thought you said I was in charge. Before we call a vote, I agree with Ernesto.
Thank you.
Get out of here. Feisty over there all of a sudden. I was half expecting a no vote.
Just get it done.
But it's a hard decision.
It is.
For some of us. I'll tease you. I know it's a hard decision.
Well, I think too, I hope it's clear that this was this was something we'd taken a lot of time and discussion about and thought about. And
I think staff got really sick of some of us, and I'll raise my hand and say that I think they were tired of me walking into, Chief Thompson is like, I have to write Mike another email and sit down with him again and stand in the hallway with him again. But they're,
And Rich said, I have to play golf with her again.
he was like, it's not even fun, because he just sits there and goes, how else can we fund this without raising taxes? And we looked, and
So
there's
I
not really
think
another option.
I voted
So-
to approve the motion because I believe that partly my sticking point is semantics and accounting rules, and so I'm willing to work through those, so.
And we'll keep an eye on it together, because I agree with you that we have to keep an eye on it. Like, it has to be used for what we're raising it for. So, does anyone else have a comment before I call a vote, or before Jeannie makes a motion?
You can't just second it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think she moved.
She moved, and Katie seconded.
Oh, I didn't hear
Okay.
Kate.
I just haven't called the vote yet.
Okay.
Okay, nope. All in favor of approving resolution 2617, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any opposed? Motion passes. And we have a budget. We won't continue it and make you pull your hair out. I was half expecting Jeannie to make the motion and then vote no, but, just to keep us all on our toes.
I honestly don't know what you do if you don't adopt it. I really don't.
The federal government goes out. We won't.
Move this.
Workshop items. Let's move to resolution 2624. Russ Akina's dressed nicely for a
Ooh,
workshop
you won't
here.
tie today.
I know, he looks good.
Thank you, Council. I am here tonight to present for your consideration for additional fees that we did not include inadvertently 2 weeks ago when you passed our fee schedule at that time. I'll tell you just a little bit about each one of them. These are fees that, in terms of frequency, they're not used as regularly as the others that you've looked at. I think that might have led to my oversight in not including these ones on here. The first is a 4-hole golf loop fee that we charge. This is to accommodate customers that don't have time to play a full 9 holes.
Or incapable of doing so.
Well, I was going to say that.
I'm speaking for myself.
And so 4 is probably a good number.
I think my only complaint, though, is those are the holes I lose half my balls on. So,
Well, then you need to work on your game.
Well, I do. Shoot, shots fired.
We'll help you out. 4-hole golf loop fee, which is currently at $10 a fee. We're proposing that stay as it is currently in place. We just want to make sure that these 4 are on the fee schedule and that they've been approved by council. The second exhibit is a Pioneer Day Parade entry fee. We tried this last year in incorporating a fee for parade entry, but only for business and commercial entries. Prior to, we would get quite a bit of feedback, in fact, from people either there to enjoy the parade or people that would tell us afterwards that, you need to have perhaps some kind of control in terms of producing better variety. And sometimes you do that by charging a fee, and then people kind of pay more attention to the things that we have in place, like the parade thing, for example. And so it seems to work, and So we're bringing that before you tonight as well to keep that in place for this year and for future parades. Exhibit C is a fee for the inflatable amusement device fee, probably better known as bounce houses and things of the sort that you would find in a park. We currently charge $75 per device for that. Yeah.
Don't go there.
Yeah, don't go there.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yes. So when we were looking this up to put it on the agenda for you, the commercial term is inflatable amusement devices. And at any rate, we charge a fee. It takes some time for us as staff to meet with the organizer. One of the biggest concerns we have is where this gets set up, that we're protecting our irrigation lines in a park. These setups generally require very long steel stakes to anchor the bounce house or whatever it might be. And then the processing time for our clerks to meet with the organizer, get the paperwork that needs to be reviewed by the legal department, and ensure that the organizer has the needed insurance to cover both the city and their event.
So these fees are separate from the event permit fee, correct?
Yes, they are.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. And in some instances, as you might know, the city special event process may or may not involve the level of sophistication or planning. This could also apply to a family reunion as opposed to a community event. But nonetheless, we still have to do our inspection in order for that to take place on city property. And then the last, Exhibit D, is folding plastic A-frame sign holders, which are used for some city events, or I should say special events, that are on or in city right-of-ways that would require signage to, more so than anything else. It's not about traffic control, but it's more about informing motorists that may be parking or typically would park in an area that's going to be used for a special event. And probably the example that is used more times than not is Center Street. Because both sides of Center Street allow for patron parking, it's the organizer's responsibility to provide advance notice to the public that's parking in these places if it's intended to be used as part of their organizing event, to put their information available, and that location will be closed for whatever duration of time that the event's being held for. And we store those signs or the A-frames, and it's up to the organizer to contact us, and then we go through the process for them to get their information placed on these signs, use the signs, and at the end of their event, return the signs back to us. Again, this is one that doesn't happen often, but needs to be part of the fee schedule. With that, if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them.
Questions for Russ?
So this is just something we have to do. You're not increasing fees, it's just you have to
No,
say it is on the
typically,
schedule.
yeah, only if a person wants or an organization wants that service.
But the fees aren't going up this year.
Yeah, but the fees aren't going up.
Procedural for the most part.
Okay. And no, I don't have any questions.
Thanks, Russ. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right.
Appreciate it. We'll now move to Aaron Smith with a Mapleview subdivision plan development overlay concept plan. I think, Aaron, if I can take a touch of liberty, this is our first PDO with 2 council members.
Yes.
Can you give us a brief? What's the timeline?
I'm going to, if I get set up here, my first slide progresses that. Thank you.
Perfect. No, thank you. I just
I'm
wanted to
going
make
to
sure that-
minimize your lovely mission statement to bring up some slides. Workshop in bold letters. Right. Thank you, Jed. So this is the Maple View Subdivision Plan Development Overlay. So I do want to start with what is a PDO. You're going to hear me say PDO a lot. And so I want to just walk through what it is, how we review it, and how it's going to come to you as this concept plan and then later as a full application. So plan development overlays are designed to allow for some flexibility in the application of zoning regulations. So this is, if it's not the cookie cutter of the code, how do we get it through a process other than we previously did this often through some sort of deed restriction or something else. But this is our process now where we bring through a legislative amendment to the code. So it's plan development overlays are for project sites greater than 3 acres. Other projects that you've seen come through, Cache Valley Marketplace came through as a PDO, Willow Lakes came through as a PDO, and it's a 2-part review process. That's what's important tonight is we're on part 1. This is the concept plan review. This is not a formal application. This is our chance to meet with Planning Commission, to meet with City Council, the applicant to hear feedback and comments before they formalize their application and bring something more responsive to what they hear from both those groups. So there's no action taken by City Council tonight, and that's why this is just a workshop. It doesn't have an ordinance or assigned to it or anything because this is the end of the phase 1. It's just hearing from you all. Then they will come back with a formal application. That will include a zoning map amendment and a land development code amendment. That's what makes this a legislative action. Most developments that we see or subdivisions that we see, Planning Commission is the decider. This is different because it involves a legislative decision on an amendment to the code. Also associated with this will be a preliminary plat, just like a regular subdivision. I do want to emphasize this particular one, you won't see building elevations or those sort of things. This is a subdivision, so the primary instrument we're seeing here is a preliminary plat and sort of a site plan. So that's my last point here. This is a subdivision. There's no attached housing or things that would require a design review permit. So it's really just what we're looking at is a non-standard subdivision with a mix of lot sizes, those sort of things. Any questions on PDOs before I move on and start diving into this proposal? Okay. We did meet with the Planning Commission. We had a quick turnaround, which is we did that with this being a non-action item. We got on the agenda quickly for both, so we get that feedback to the applicant. I did write down some notes, and I wanted to provide them as we go through this. There was general support for the concept and layout with the Planning Commission. They liked the transition to lots, the mix in lot sizes, the connection to open space. There was interest from the Planning Commission in seeing more housing types, included attached housing, twin homes, duplex, townhomes, ADUs all came up and were discussed. Other commissioners, but that wasn't everybody, other commissioners really liked the emphasis on smaller family, single family lots that this one had. There was interest from the Planning Commission promoting owner occupancy in the development. There were concerns about the shared driveway, but staff did explain that they would have to meet fire code, so there's some minimum requirements on what that shared driveway looks like, access through lots. And then there was interest from the Planning Commission on how what amenities will go into the open space that we discussed, and then support for a strong neighborhood connection to that open space at the park. And there was support for connecting one of the stub roads on the north end to 290 South. So those are the notes from Planning Commission, and we can refer back to those if you have questions as I go through the presentation on the actual site plan here. So we're on, to orient us, we're out on 2nd South and 14th West. This is right next to our 200 South Park, right next to the Equestrian Estates subdivision that terminates there at the end of 350 South. It's currently zoned in R4, and you saw this previously as a rezone several months back, as a rezone from NR4 to MR9. And at that time, the direction was this should be done as a PD. And I may have misstated that. I believe it was withdrawn right before it was heard with you all. So it was heard with Planning Commission, withdrawn for this before City Council. So our current future land use plan, we have a new one. It's now called low density residential out there. I will just highlight real quick what our new general plan says about low density residential. It's to promote more diverse housing than previous land use designation. It accommodates single and two-family attached or detached dwelling units. Densities typically range from 1 to 9 units per acre, and then future development should align with the scale and character of existing neighborhoods to maintain a cohesive residential fabric. So those are sort of the highlights that I wanted to hit on from the low-density residential land use out there. Zooming in, here's the proposal. So it's a 10-acre site. There's 51 single-family lots proposed. They vary in size. Obviously, the larger ones are on the eastern edge near the equestrian estates. There's about 10,000 square feet. Those smaller ones are around 4,000 square feet. They propose connections to 350 South and then out to 14th West, and as well as 2 stubs. A stub going north, kind of towards that 290 South, and I'll get into more about that connection. Then a stub south that has to develop south for any connection to be made to the grid. But that north stub is going towards what is a park space, but is a potential connection to that 290 South. Within the development, those roads are 60-foot local streets, with the exception of, here I'm going to actually zoom into our better one here, with the exception of a private drive here coming off of 350 South that connects to 3 lots. Now that private drive would have to be at least 20 feet wide, should have a sidewalk as I'll get into, and it has to have a turnaround for fire back there. But that's a proposal for 3 lots to be accessed off of a private drive. Then there's the open space, about an acre of open space on the northern end. This is primarily within our landfill overlay. I'll back up one. You can see that hatched area. That's the landfill overlay. It's unbuildable for residential structures, but it can have open space in it. As far as the lot configuration, current zoning, it's in R4 now. It could have 40 units per acre for a 10-acre development. However, that's not likely. In subdivisions, a lot of that acreage gets eaten up by roads, and so you're likely, I ran a calculation on it and got about 27. You'll probably hear from the proponent somewhere around maybe 23. If it would develop as its current zone, that's what you get out there. The acreage of the different, so they kind of fall into 4 sizes of lots. You have the ones that are about 10,000 square foot lots. Those are kind of equivalent to our NR4 zone. Then you have a few that are around 6,000 square feet, and then those are about 4,000 square feet. Of those larger 10,000 square foot lots, you have 7 of those. Of the NR6 lots, you have 7 of those. And then of the smaller, around 4,000 square feet, you have 37 of them. Acreage-wise, about a quarter of the land is those 10,000 square foot lots. About 60% of it is that 4,000 square foot lot. So primarily smaller lots. Transportation, I do want to highlight the 14th West corridor is planned as a minor arterial. A minor arterial is a 102-foot right-of-way. While we're planning for that width, they wouldn't be required to construct that width at this time. The proposal from engineering is for them to construct a collector, which is an 80-foot right-of-way. So they'd have to construct half of that. But we want to preserve the full 102 feet. I spoke with the applicant. They planned this with a 102 foot. So somebody did their homework. That was great. And they actually have a 102-foot plan.
That's what that yellow line is.
The yellow line is just a line. I would ignore that one.
That is the best answer I've ever had. It's a line. Ignore it.
Right here, the orange line is the center line, would be the center line of 14th West. And they're showing the 102 feet out to the edge of the, over here and over here. So it's a 51 feet on both sides of that line to the edge of the subdivision, which is actually this line.
2 kind of unrelated questions.
Yeah.
And you can tell me to shut up until the end of your presentation if you want. We own the property to the northwest here. That is the park. That 102-foot right-of-way bumps right into the trail there in that northwest corner. Top left.
Right. So 102 foot, we'll get it where we can.
Do you have, can you go back to the other one? You don't have a measurement for what the 80-foot right-of-way would look like, but it'd be a little bit in. Given that the developer would be, assuming this goes forward, required to pave their half, so the east half of 1400 West, do they have to pave that all the way to 200 South to make that connection? And two, given the city owns what's on the other side of it, normally that would be built out when it was built on the other side of the road, but given we already own that, would we look at just paving the other half at the same time?
That's a good question. I don't have a direct answer for it. The conditions from engineering was to build this as a collector adjacent to the subdivision. It wasn't called out to continue construction of it up to 200 South.
Because it's currently all dirt.
How much further is it to 200 South?
One block, because you're at 290
it's
South.
another block.
One block to get it to 200 South. Otherwise, their exit to the west is a block of dirt road and a block of pavement. I'm just curious, but currently it's not to pave it to 200 South.
To 200 South. No.
Okay. I don't know if I love
But this
that.
is a PDO.
Right.
Things to discuss. Examples of where in the Willow Lakes one, 14th West was required to be extended and make a connection. All right. So that's the transportation corridor. The park connection. So let me highlight 290 South. There's an opportunity here to address a connectivity issue that would traverse the park in a small portion. So this highlights where a connection can be made to 290 South. It would create a remainder parcel. That remainder could be another building lot potentially. It's not, from my conversation with the parks, it's not something they would want to hold on to. It doesn't make much sense. And when I go to the next, I'll highlight real quick the design for the park. This was an earlier draft that kind of shows more of that southern end of this, but initially they imagined 290 South actually traversing more of the park and creating a larger remainder. So this is actually a nice opportunity to minimize where that road's coming through, really bring it into a subdivision to the south that will clean up some of these lines and create more overall park space compared to this early kind of design for 290 South. So I did want to highlight that. It's an opportunity with this configuration.
So where is that picture in relation to this?
Well,
here's Equestrian Estates. This would be the property that we're looking at right now.
Yeah, but
it would be right here.
We originally planned on buying the
And what I was just showing is that instead of 290 traversing the park all the way out in this configuration, it could just tie in right here.
No, but we anticipated park in part of that piece of property.
Yeah, but we didn't own it.
But that's part of the master plan for the park. Correct or not correct?
I don't know what you're asking. I apologize.
Those
Katie.
4 white buildings at the bottom
Here.
and the blue space, what is that?
That would be a good question for the master plans of parks. That might be one
Here
to
comes
send to
Rusakina.
Rusakina. Now, this was an early draft. This is not exactly how it is laid out now.
Yeah, no,
this is the one that showed this area the best and most defined.
Go for it, Ross.
I really contemplated not sending this to him. This was a concept plan drafted up in 2023. So obviously we didn't know about development of the parcel that you're looking at tonight. And there were different configurations discussed with engineering because there was plans to move traffic from the existing subdivision west to 14th. It was just a matter of which road was that going to be. What you're looking at tonight, not the concept plan, but what Mapleview subdivision, what that is all about. That actually works well for us, other than just to state that if the intent is to connect their road through the east side of their subdivision, it would seem to make sense to do that to 290 South, which is where that curve or turn the road that Aaron is showing connects to. What that would do for us from a park standpoint is we would be less inclined or that would desire to have park space in that quarter donut, if you will, because it creates some safety issues with the road now splitting public space. It would be better if some other consideration was given to that and leave the park on the west side of that turn in the road.
So in your original concept plan, 350 South went clear across, or almost across.
Yeah, I think engineering at the time thought that rather than taking 290 South straight across, that what is that, 350 South would be a better alignment for them. I can't speak to why one would be better than the other. We just wanted to ensure that the park space would stay whole. And even under this concept, this isn't one that, I mean, if you're looking at that kind of a bluish space as being part of the park, it's not the best outline, and from our perspective, we'd like to keep things kind of grouped together.
Okay, I understand that part, but I'm a little concerned about the cross streets.
Not on this, because this is not the proposed cross streets.
Can you just remind us why we're looking at this? Because most of this is not.
Yeah, because
I wanted to show what the park could potentially look like in that space.
But that wasn't our property.
Assuming we bought more land.
It's kind of a wrench.
I'm sorry to throw wrenches. I don't like to throw wrenches. I wanted to show an interface that there are plans for this area.
You're showing a plan of private property.
Nope. This isn't showing, everything south of this line here is the private property, actually south of this line.
Yeah.
This is all us, and I wanted to show plans in this area.
Okay.
But if we hypothetically adopted this as you've got drawn here, you'd actually get more open park space and still get your road connection.
Correct.
And you're not buying land.
Returning to this and sort of those connections to the open space, I think this is important as well. One of the emphasis here, we don't have a lot of what's going on here. The proponent can kind of cover some of the proposals, whether it's a pump track. Likely there will be some stormwater facilities here, but there are preserved connections to the neighborhood for trail corridors. And one thing that we discussed with Russ is how that would connect to the park in the space to the north with the trail loops that are planned.
Super close. Planned, they're already in.
Oh, I'm going the wrong direction. I have a better picture this way. I apologize.
Yeah,
here. So you can see the existing parking lot where the playgrounds will be and an existing trail loop here. I think there's potential. This is the location of the open space. These are where there would be connections from the neighborhood, is how this loops into the trail.
So you could add a trail possibly there? That's property you could add a trail to.
Yeah, so I'm assuming you have budget.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm wondering if the land.
Can I ask a question on your corner, Aaron? If you'll go back to that one that has your little donut, it's dinner time. Do you know roughly the acreage or square footage of that donut? Is it actually buildable?
Oh, yes.
And would a driveway?
Yeah,
would a driveway work on that corner somewhere safely? And finally, I'm asking you 3 questions at once. Or if we require them to build this road through our park space and then leave a section of a park space, are we hypothetically intending for them to purchase park space? I'm drawing on my face. Or give them that space and then require the road?
That would be something we'd be looking for guidance from city council on what they'd like to see.
I just didn't know if Parks was like saying, we'll give them this space and they're okay with that.
That's what I mean, it
or
seems
you
like
have to buy our space and then build our road.
Well, that's part of our process.
Technically, the mayor's in charge of selling land, correct?
Yeah, I mean, that's an executive function. That's a part of the negotiation and discussion you have.
Okay. And likely on who pays for the road could, tie back to that.
Related to this, but just to make sure, and from a standpoint of the road, so 1400 West currently would not be, the main access would be 350 South.
And then jogging down to like 380 South.
Zoom out a little bit more. You can see that layout a little bit better there.
Right. Okay, so if they connected through but 1400 West, did you say is dirt?
Currently.
Currently.
And it currently pretty much dead ends at that corner there where the
And
purple
so,
would be. Not really.
so for the neighborhood, I mean, I think you would want, so 350 South is the main access point.
Yeah, I would describe that now until 14th West develops fully.
Okay, and so that quarter of a donut, that would then, of course, give 2 ways to enter and exit.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure that was clear.
Which is the intention of the stub to begin with, going north.
You have to have how many
And
exits?
how many exits, okay. And then help me understand too, back to the question on that piece of property, given that the landfill
overlay zone,
thank you, the hatch marks on there that are impacting this top left corner of this property, which is why there's open green space.
But keep in mind, they have to have open space.
Right, they have to have open space anyway, so it works out well.
Correction there, it's a single-family subdivision would not have a requirement for open space.
Okay.
However, this one has.
That's right, the previous concept, I think, which didn't come to us.
Which had multifamily.
would have had required open space.
Would have required open space.
This does not require open space, so this is an impact as far as the overlay. So what is the process if we were to consider that road 290 tie-in, how that is paid for, and then also that piece of property? Because it would seem like from my perspective, given the landfill overlay impact on that property and given the need for a road to both 350 South and 290 South, that it's not, someone can say, I don't know, this is.
Seems like a no-brainer. It seems like we should do it. Is that what you're saying?
Well, the developer, that we have no use for that land once it's
empty
done.
land.
Why not give it to the developer to develop it and trade for the road component?
I think if council would give direction to proponent and staff on what they want to see come back, and if the direction is we want to see 290, similar to the precedent we have with the 1400 West from Willow Lake, something similar to that, we want that road built, or we want that road connecting up to 200 South. Staff and the proponent should probably be listening to what the direction is, because they need to get this
So
through
Aaron,
city council.
I'm going to change gears a lot.
Let's do it.
The property that is directly to the west of this piece of property is partially privately owned and partially overlaid by the landfill. Is that correct?
The park directly to the west is city.
West is City Park.
That is City Park. That's
directly to the west is all city park?
Yep. And you can see all that trail
That's the
running through
trail.
it. That's the outdoor recreation
Everything
complex.
green there.
There's a fox mom with babies living on it right now. They're really cute.
Okay,
They are
one thing that we have always tried to
admire
do
everybody.
that does not appear to be happening here is to try and create connectivity between major roads and subdivisions. So my thought is that 350 South comes out at an intersection, which is a little odd, and I don't understand exactly why it's like one house width away from an intersection, which is an odd place at a collector road to have an entrance or an exit.
350 South is not a collector road. 350
No.
South is a
No.
local street.
1400 is a collector road, and
Yes.
if 350 is coming out at that almost an intersection, because I assume the road going to the west will be developed as well.
Down at the south, as you're saying.
Go back to your big map, though. Going west is still park even further west of that. I don't,
Huh?
I mean, maybe, but
I
that.
think she's talking the red line. at
I
the
know, but that
bottom.
red line is just a dead-end dirt road to, it's like a powder coating
Small
business.
business.
So
Right?
we're, so we're gonna
Yeah,
have
they're-
construction traffic going into a dead-end dirt road, on a dead-end dirt road to build a huge housing development without any really connectivity to anywhere else in the city.
Well, that's why I was asking if we're paving the road to the north, because
That's my
it seems
problem.
insane to leave the north, 1400 west, not paved up to 200 south.
It makes no sense whatsoever, but it also doesn't make sense to pull 350 south out right at that intersection. Or not at
Not
the
at
I mean,
the
it's not
intersection.
really an intersection. That intersection's not gonna be like a big long-term connector intersection. Based on what's west of here, you are not gonna, where their road stubs, you're not just gonna decide that that's your connection to go west, because you're gonna hit a pond and another pond and a trail.
Anything north will tee with the park.
Right.
This is about as far south as we can bring that.
About as far south as we can bring that.
Because anything
That
north hits
road,
that park.
where 350 comes out, where
Everything
this
north,
intersection that you're discussing right here,
Right.
everything north, it's all going to be a T.
because it's all
Because
park.
it's all hitting the park on the west.
Right, but.
This is the closest you could probably get there without just bringing it straight through all those lots.
And that's what she's asking, why aren't we taking it?
Why are we
straight through?
not
'Cause you're
having
taking 20 lots
connectivity
out.
with the road within the
There,
subdivision?
there's no planned road to the west. It's a driveway.
There's-
Is really what it comes down to. This will dictate our alignment, possibly.
But but you're saying, just to be clear, west of 1400 west is a park.
Mm-hmm.
Will continue to be a park.
Yes, please.
When 1400 west, when you go right at the bottom, it is a dead end, will continue to be a dead end, and is part of a park. And there's really no use for, I guess, I don't understand why we would pay 1400 based on my understanding.
Second south?
Because it's one
So people
block.
would have a way to get out.
14th is a major road
And
plan.
200 south is the main road that connects to 10th west.
So we do want to pave
Yeah,
where it's not
North.
paved.
yeah, north.
For a block.
Yeah.
Because then it currently does it dead ends into the landfill and greenways.
It's one block that we'd have to pay.
And part of
We,
the,
them,
part of the
or,
PD
but like-
process
Yeah.
is that we can request that to be part of it.
There is going to be a conversation about proportionality on this in that
Right.
this is a 50 lot subdivision. And that's a lot of, that's
a lot of
another
road.
600 feet of road. And whether or not it's even feasible to cover the cost of that road will be a conversation that you'll want to discuss with the applicant.
Yeah.
I feel like, Russ, are you wanting to say something? I know you've worked on this a lot, and I feel if there's any clarification, that'd be helpful.
Yeah, I just may
to
have an
us.
answer for Jeannie's question. So the reason
No, they're
for the
not
spacing there is 1400 West is categorized as a collector
Correct.
or arterial.
So-
And the intersection spacing there is dictated by Public Works and Engineering. And so 350 South curves to the very south edge of this property so that it achieves maximum spacing between 200 South and the new 350 South.
Okay, that's a reasonable explanation.
As we annex, see the red line is annexation, and those areas are private south of there. They'll likely swing up and create a four-way intersection at this new, are we calling it 350 or 390? Because it actually swings down to become 390.
So
Would we do that
is
with
it
our
a
trail there?
full street? It's a full street within the development. It's not a, because it looks in the picture like it becomes a tiny street at the bottom.
All of their internal streets will be full.
They're
Their
full
outer
streets.
perimeter will be center line in. But
Right,
all of the
1400.
streets within are a full cross-section.
Except for that little private one.
Except for the private drive.
Yeah, that's like a shared driveway. But the real streets will be, you know, sidewalk to sidewalk, built the entire cross section. Does that answer your
Are
question?
we really gonna swing that road up west of here and move the trail that we just put in a year ago at some point? We just realign the trail, is that I mean.
Yeah, the trail will account for that and be adjusted. And it depends on the annexation, what type of development or land use is there.
Sure.
But that's the reason why that block was pushed south, is to increase that spacing on those intersections so that this can be a higher volume, higher capacity, or a higher speed street with fewer cross traffic.
So Melissa?
Yep.
You were part of the Woodruff Neighborhood Plan.
Yes.
That asked for this to be NR4. What would make you think this would be a better solution than NR4?
I don't think anyone there will be happy with this solution personally, because that was the whole point, is people were not wanting the small lots. That's why it was zoned NR4, is because they wanted to keep it bigger lots and bigger areas. Granted, times have changed, you know, and it's harder to keep the bigger lots and make it affordable. But yeah, I would say they wouldn't be happy with this development as much.
Just to clarify too, before the concept were townhomes, right?
Yeah.
Their original
And now we're
proposal, yeah.
looking at single family,
But townhomes required a rezone.
right. But my question is the little connecting road up there, that neighborhood, aren't the lot sizes similar to what this is being proposed? And isn't the intention to have neighborhoods contiguous that have similar
So
lot sizes?
the development to the northeast up here, you can see those smaller lots are NR6 and they're like 1.14 acres. And a lot of these smaller ones are about 0.1. But what's directly east of it here are closer to like 3/4 to an acre.
Right, I know those are,
Yeah,
I'm
they're
looking
way
at that, I'm just looking at,
Yeah, those ones are newer. The ones at the north are
Yeah,
newer.
it's a-
They're
it's a
like
newer visionary
within the
development.
last few years.
These 6,000 square foot lots.
Yeah. 0.14.
So I mean, it does blend with that, and they've kept the bigger lots on the east side to help blend.
and the neighborhood council look at this,
It hasn't.
consider this as townhomes or like this?
It hasn't gone to the
It
neighborhood
hasn't
council
gone to
yet?
neighborhood council.
There's one comment on Facebook where I posted in their neighborhood Facebook group.
So,
But it's one.
Yeah.
But
Did you
like
see it?
Willow Lakes, we can have them go to the neighborhood council.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should.
In the
It's-
process.
yeah, at some point.
Yeah.
I totally, I mean, I guess if we look at the overall picture, which I don't know, stop me, Aaron, if you have more to cover first. I totally get it, I want bigger lots too. But they're so dang expensive these days.
do we want bigger lots here, or are we wanting, there's various size lots within this, there's smaller lots, and we're wanting more affordable housing options? Because I thought that's what that was.
Well, but you have to balance what the neighborhood asked for in their neighborhood plan.
Right.
And what they agreed to, what they wanted to have in that area, that particular area, and everything else that goes on.
Sure.
So,
And what they wanted was something, that zoning would have reflected 27.
What they wanted was NR4. I mean, that was.
NR4, which would have been about 27 homes versus what is proposed as 51. So,
I will say that I wish
okay.
there were a way, if we were going to go with this much density, that it's not just all driveways.
Density wise, if I could just interject, it's 5 units an acre. I didn't mention that.
This is 5 units an acre, so it's an NR5 roughly, give or take.
Overall.
Overall, that's gross. And once again, it's hard to get maximized density in single family subdivisions, as I mentioned with the amount of roads.
But I feel like with the smaller lots, it's gonna be like driveway, 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 driveway.
It is, when they're all
I
double
mean, that's
wide.
what they are, that's what's up.
Do you know what the frontage roughly is on any of these homes or lots
Oh,
proposed?
I should. I think it's 40-foot minimum.
Yeah,
This is
and so
right
if you have a
around
40-foot
40
minimum and a typical two-car driveway's give or take 20 feet, roughly.
Yeah.
So it is 50% driveway.
On every single house.
But that's what it is up on, what is that road, 200 South?
I know, I just wish we
I know,
could
it's
do
just
something
not
different.
necessarily ideal.
I know, it's not.
I like the
but
idea
like,
of shared
how do you-
driveways.
I like the idea of rear driveways.
Yeah, how do you do that with the space here, though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't.
I also, and I know this was mentioned, I believe in a meeting that you were in, Melissa, that I love the idea of some not townhomes, some twin homes or different housing types if you're looking at something like this, but I also know that that's hard.
Well, doesn't this allow you to do more of that?
If the PDO, they can do whatever that we all agree to.
They can, yeah.
Yeah, they could. Originally, their proposal had a lot of townhomes, and I didn't love that. And I told them less townhomes, and we got to roughly here. And I'm not saying townhomes, I still like twin home or two, because I do think it gives you some consolidated driveways if you can somewhere, or some shared driveways. And it breaks up just the uniform 20 feet of grass, 20 feet of driveway, 20 feet of grass, 20 feet of driveway.
Can I clarify the width real quick? Sorry, I couldn't read it on here, but I can read it on my printed version. Most of the smaller lots are 48 feet.
Okay, so 28 feet of driveway and 28 feet of grass and 20
8 feet is 8 feet.
But as part of the PDO, we could look at different setbacks and different. Oh,
she's bringing the boot.
And that's a good point. Something that's not in this plan.
Does it count?
Something that council may want to consider giving some direction on is a reduction in setbacks. When we have these smaller lots come through in the MR9, it's a minimum 20-foot front setback. That's to accommodate cars in the driveway. And then you could also consider narrowing the side setbacks down to 5, just to make a bigger building envelope on these smaller lots.
Problem is, you got to fit a car
That's why
somewhere in the
it's
driveway.
20 minimum.
I know.
But yes, we have had complaints that they're still not.
I still wish we built more. No, this was like my first house that had the driveway kind of behind, and so it had still had the 20-foot driveway, but
It's
the
just
house had like an
hard.
8-foot yard.
These neighborhoods are everywhere in the Woodruff neighborhood. I mean, that's what it is that these subdivisions are these small driveway.
But I think
driveway.
with the
That's what it
PDO,
is.
assuming we can find an agreement with the developer, we can find some way forward to where it's not just uniform identical. Like that's the hope of a PDO is like, is there a way that we can move forward of,
Make it a little different.
yeah, how can we get some character and some
I
uniqueness
think
in
if you
this?
can make it more character and make it more different, people
Well,
would be more accepting.
He's sitting on the back
of
row over
it.
there, so give him some ideas on what character and what uniqueness you want, and see if it's something that's feasible.
I know
If you have specifics, but
I know this is not what this is, but when y'all were talking about driveways and small lot sizes, where I think there have been successful projects, I don't know what it's called, but the 55 and older, I mean, there's a few of them that are in Logan.
Like the one on 10th North. And
Yeah, and I think the character of,
can I add? I think they have smaller roads, don't they, Russ?
They have private road.
Or are they private? Is that why they're smaller?
they're
smaller.
private, that is true.
And that's the problem here, is you have to have it be.
That is true.
But you could hypothetically, that curvy one, if, I don't know, you could narrow the road if they were willing to go private on it and we were willing to agree to that. Like,
Yeah, but you couldn't do that with the 350.
no, you couldn't do it with 350 and
But
you probably
can't
couldn't.
do it with part and not all of it. I don't
We already have a small private road in this.
That small private road in this one, where's the turnaround for fire?
There isn't one.
So
The
that's not
turnaround,
even feasible.
what? Sorry, the turnaround would be located on the lots.
In their
They'd have
driveways.
design. We
In
have
their
some
driveways.
precedent of these. Yeah, the turnaround would be designed on the lot.
Okay.
So it'd be kind of a cul-de-sac?
It'd be, they call it a hammerhead.
It's like a shark. But there is one private road. Assuming that the developer was amenable to it, you could see if the other non-connecting road could be a private road, which could give you a different feel, and it would give you more lot space too. But I don't know if we can invite the developer up here and have this meeting go for many more hours if we want.
Forever and ever and ever.
But I'm assuming he's taking some notes.
What
Okay.
is so what are we wanting to?
So the plan
What
tonight
is
is
the
to give some
direction?
rough feedback here, and then the developer will go back to planning commission
So
and
I
power through.
do have a question.
Yeah. So
As
what do you like?
that-
What do you don't like?
As 350, 90, whatever it's going to be called, comes out onto 1400 West, it appears to get to be smaller.
I don't think it does. I think that's the building that's under the map. It doesn't. It's
the same width all along.
Yeah, Jeannie, it's.
So what is the building a lot? What is the
That building is
That's an
currently
existing
there on
building.
site. That's just the sat image.
They just overlaid the
But
plan.
is it a lot?
Yes, it'll be a lot
Yes,
there.
it will be a lot.
It'll be a corner lot, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can see the building there on the
I
road
can't,
stage.
okay.
Yeah.
But like,
And the
yeah,
same
so
way,
there's still a lot there.
one right there too.
Yeah.
So those will go away.
There's a couple current
Unless you want
agriculture
to
buildings
retrofit
on
the shed
site.
into a house. So, what else do you need from us, Aaron? What more things do you guys like
Really,
and don't like that you want to share
the
with Aaron?
notes should be kind of what do you want to see on this plan when it comes back to you. So imagine this is your starting point. What do you want to see on it?
I personally would prefer to have more lots, or bigger lots, or more NR4 lots as part of it. Maybe the ones that are next to 1400 West.
On the west side, so some big lots on the east and the west.
I personally don't love the private driveway. I think it's weird to come off of 350 South and go into a private drive for 3 lots.
Yeah, I agree with you, Melissa.
Yeah, there does seem to be something problematic.
I think that 350 South, it would be kind of confusing because people would think to go straight. I mean, I know you'd have signage, but it'd be weird when you have this main road.
Do you want private, bigger lots in the
That
middle
has
instead
to
of
be-
bigger lots in the end?
It's essentially the width of a driveway.
I'm thinking
So
more of a-
I don't know how much
So
it
it
would
might not
feel
be
like.
confusing.
Yeah, it's gonna
something
narrow
you
up.
Go
Which is
down, it'd be
weird.
a concrete 20-foot, might be asphalted, but.
Yeah, but I think it should be
20 feet.
off-centered from the intersection.
Yeah, it's like being right in the center is kind of odd.
I mean, it is offset.
There may
Centers
be
are offset a little
options
bit,
to
but
swap those.
So, and how would those 3 lots function for like trash collection? Do they have to
They'd
go
have
up
to
to the
wheel it out.
main,
Have to take
wheel
it
it
out
up
to
to
the
the
main
main
road.
road?
That's
The reason, where I'm coming from, so for those of you who are in this neighborhood, I really, it's important that you have a better sense of, but over in the Hillcrest area, in the Deer Crest,
It's all private roads.
the private roads, there was, people buy those homes, they don't.
Realize
some
they're private.
Don't realize when they purchase them that they are private and then they're not built to accommodate trash.
snow.
Vehicles or snow vehicles, and there's been so many issues with that. So just something to be, where you've got a neighborhood full of homes that are going to be able to receive services, and then have 3 that wouldn't. And if that's, and there's no HOA, right? Because you would do that.
there will be an
There should
HOA
be an
because
HOA.
they'll have to maintain the open
There's the
space.
open space.
Oh, so there will be an HOA for that. Well,
But would the HOA cover that private drive?
But that would be
That'd be up to the
HOA cover
HOA.
if there's a private drive, I think you need a HOA to cover, you need them to but because I think what has happened so many times at Deer Crest is people have, purchased those properties, not realized they're not included in trash collection or snow removal, and they haven't figured out a way to create an HOA now. Well, there's supposed to be one anyhow. It gets down in the weeds, but you don't want because it's just these 3.
And I know you don't want to extend the meeting, but these are good questions if you want to ask them.
And I have another thing to add on to that. If that is like that, then you have garbage cans coming out, but there's not enough curb space to put those garbage cans because you have driveway and driveway. that are also pulling out garbage cans onto the curb. And so that is definitely something to consider. And then if you have cars parking on the side of the road, which I assume these roads are wide enough that you'd have cars parking on the sides because their driveways aren't going to be big enough and they're going to have 3 cars and so they're going to. And yeah. And so there's just a lot of things that you notice with these neighborhoods that is difficult, like garbage day and cars and things.
There's a lot of concerns.
Mm-hmm. Can I say something?
Well, yeah. I would just like.
Go ahead.
See some solutions for them too. Like if you have ideas on how to improve it. But go, Jeannie.
What I would like to see is, like Ernesto, a few more of the larger lots, but I would like to see them coming along the open space area. Mm-hmm. Then as they move down 1400 West, perhaps allow some increased density, a twin home or something like that, to offset that. Because 1400 West is going to be less desirable overall once it gets busy.
Agreed.
And I would like them to work on figuring out how to offset that private road and deal with some of those issues, because it is a big issue in all developments with people parking. Either you rear load all those houses and make that road a little bigger so you don't have driveways on the other side, or you know, and offset it somehow. But, you know, I would think that overall, if we added some of the larger lots, especially on that top side, because theoretically, if we give you that other piece, then you've got another big piece there, and then add that density on 14th West. And I think, well, those would be my concerns. Sorry, I went twice.
I like it. Thank you. Other concerns or ideas that you want to share with the developer?
Here's an idea. You could still have the private drive, but instead of those being lots, it's the garages for those homes.
Make those lots bigger.
Yeah.
But thought
It could
maybe.
be the garages in the back of the home instead of in the front. I don't know.
Well, you could actually curve that road up and take that one funky shaped lot and put it on the other side of the driveway, and make it rear loaded.
Yeah.
So it would offset it from that intersection.
Yeah.
It doesn't solve the garbage problem.
Trying to design down to the road level, I would try to keep it a little bit
More general.
higher for them.
I do think you're going to get some neighborhood pushback on the density. I do think, though, that, and obviously this is just my own personal experience, but being in my 30s, I have tons of friends who have bought townhomes and then have kids, and they say, I want a yard, but then they don't want a full acre or a half an acre or a quarter acre. I do think there is probably some demand for sub 4,000 or 5,000 square foot lots in the city, but obviously we have to be careful with how it's designed so that it doesn't just become a parking lot full of boats and cars, because they do very easily, and I think that's something we need to make sure we mitigate as much as possible if this is going to go somewhere.
Can you remind me the property south of that? Because right now it's, that, right,
Yes.
I know it's nothing now, but.
It's a field, it's something, it's beautiful.
That road is there.
I'm at the end.
I would assume.
I looked it up and it is just one
This is Sugar Creek.
But that could
And
eventually.
you can see the road curves here. I would assume at some point this would curve and connect to some extent. Or you could curve and connect here. But
Yeah, there's no
these two
road that's really connecting.
no, but you can see Sugar Creek and that MR9 down there has 2 stubs north that one of them or both of them would somehow connect to a stub south from this unit.
Right.
Somewhere.
So
You
the
would
question
make
is
those-
about the blocking here. So this 500 south would tie into 14th somewhere over here, but that south stub from this development would swing over and tie into 1250 west.
Yeah.
Can I, that 500 south, there's development in there. There's not going to be a road through there.
This, 500 south comes out to 14th west.
Oh, does it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's part of the Sugar Creek.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that stubbed road
Yeah, it has somewhere to go once that middle unit
is
does something.
actually needed in the same way, like
Yes.
versus.
Yeah,
It is.
it's a good self-blocking road.
Okay.
And I would like some consideration of paving beyond the confines of the
On 1400.
on 1400.
I mean, to be blunt, either the developer helps with that or the city's footing that bill almost immediately because you're going to need that paved connection north. You can't just have a block of dirt road there as one of your two main points in and out of a neighborhood.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I know, I'm just saying, either they're paving it or we're paving it or we're splitting it or something.
Yeah.
It's gonna have to be paved.
That's gonna be a
So
consideration.
Aaron,
Yeah.
was I high level enough, or did you need it to be more high level in my suggestions?
I would ask if the developer has clarity. I'm not the one preparing the application.
Okay.
Can I?
Well, you said something about,
Right, we were talking about width of road and this one, where to move it. I think that's gonna be tough for him to get in, for us to design it.
Right.
But,
I just said what ideal would be.
yeah.
But I think it'd be good to call.
So probably if we said all we're going to say, you just have to ask him if he has clarity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Melissa has a specific question for him.
No, I don't have a
Oh,
specific question. I
okay.
think we just, let's ask if he has clarity because I think that's where the stage we're at.
So I don't want this to take too long, but feel free to come to the microphone. Give us, to be blunt, I don't want to big spiel on things. Like just, if you have specific questions or concerns, let's just hit those. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And to be brief, I tried to listen. You know, we came and first time we did not the right process, came back with the process, and we're really trying to listen. I met with Mike and Melissa, and we, and Jane, a lot of those things, those specifics of the roads, we've tried this way, we've tried that way, and I think this was our 9th official iteration, going through, and I sent a few of those back with Mike, but I guess as far as clarity,
You're exhausted.
no, it's just I want to get what is good for the city, and we, and I'm excited about this project. I'm excited just, having something next to a park. I think that's exciting. This can be a good neighborhood, and some of the, the diversion of 350 leads to slower traffic, and my hope is that a kid could ride his bike from here to the park and then get on the trail, and we would be happy to pave a piece of the trail to match into it on the city property. I think that would be valuable for both sides. I guess where we what I was hoping to come away with was clarity on, do we like this generally? Because our next step is submittal, and it's either do or die for us, and so I guess my question for the council is, we started with, closer to that 9 units an acre on the top end of the master plan. Now we're down to 5 units an acre, kind of the middle of that. And I know there's lots of factors, and not everybody's going to be, satisfied. But as far as what I think is great about this project is, it is, providing homes near the park. It's providing affordable homes. And just for reference, we're doing a project in Weber County, and we did a study going from 4,000 square foot lots or 3,500 square foot lots to 6,000 square foot lots, and did a market study, and it translated from a $450,000 home to a $675,000 home. And so that's kind of the difference. Personally, I like the diversity, but I do want there to be you know, some of those smaller options that are not townhomes. There are a lot of townhomes going up right now. My sister lives less than a mile away from this, and she would like to buy a house, and she keeps asking me, "Are you going to build anything I can afford?" And this is my closest one. So I guess my question for you is, are we close? Do you feel like...
Is it workable?
Is this workable? Because we can change some details. Changing a large amount of lots to different sizes is, like I said, we've done this 9 times, and you get down to the specifics, and it becomes, you know, one reason over here is another reason why this doesn't work over here. And, you know, and some of the things like the shared driveway, we do have a design with a hammerhead that goes between the 2 houses, and I think garbage should be able to go in that same path.
Yeah, but garbage isn't going to come down a private road.
Okay, those are things I think we can figure out.
So I'm just, they just don't. So.
And snow removal.
And snow removal.
And I mean, I think still consider, like, I think we're not, it's definitely workable. I mean, I think this is definitely workable. I like this better than some of the previous plans, you know, that you brought forth. And we're not against, like, duplexes. Like Jeannie was saying, along 1400 West, I think it's a great spot to have a few duplexes or,
twin homes.
Or twin homes, yeah. I wouldn't go fourplexes. I think keeping it twin homes type thing would be better. But I think that's easily could be considered.
And duplexes, changing a product type for just a couple is...
It's probably hard.
It's hard,
yeah.
We're the land developer, the builders come in, you know, you're not going to get a twin home. There's not many twin home builders. That's not, you know, popular product type right now. And if there's only 5 or 6 of those, it's hard to make that work.
Okay.
I'm not trying to just...
Part of our challenge is we're trying to accommodate neighborhood desires, allow growth, and have something that people really want to be in.
I agree.
And I think that if we end up with and I'm not saying this is how it's going to be, but so often we end up with a cookie cutter product. And it doesn't make our city more desirable. An interesting development makes it more desirable, which is why we had the PD process, so that we would have more input and that individuals designing it would have more flexibility in terms of their imagination and their vision. So our suggestions are when I suggested adding more of the larger lots, it's to reflect the desires of the neighborhood. And adding more density along 1400 West seems more logical because of the size of the road. It's going to be a big road. And when it's a big road, people are going to be going fast or faster. And so, and the private drive bumping into 350 South is just one of those things that's problematic. We found it to be problematic in the past, and if you can offset it, it's much more desirable in terms of traffic flow. You want your traffic flow to go down. They're going to get there. There's going to be this little road in front of them and 2 roads this way, and it's going to be like, oh, I don't know where I'm supposed to go.
So if we like curve it up?
Yeah, if you could, but, so those suggestions are based, in my opinion, they're based on what we have learned in the past and what the neighborhoods talk to us about. So it's sort of like, I know that every developer wants to do what they want to do because they have a vision, but somehow that vision needs to, in this process, it needs to meld with the community's vision as well. So that's my speech.
Have you, and obviously you don't have to name names, I'm assuming there's home builders you've been in discussion with at this point.
Yeah.
Have you talked to them about more diversity of housing types at all?
Well, in their mind, I mean, this does have a diversity because this is going to be different product types. So
sure,
they'll have a 40-foot frontage, 50-foot frontage,
Yeah, but you haven't talked like a duplex or a mansion home or
no,
with any of them?
We have, but duplex is, like I said, it's kind of at least in the builders we work with, is not a common, nobody's trying to build them. They say, okay, if we want any smart on this, let's just do townhomes. And if we're doing townhomes, they want.
And maybe you don't have an answer to that. Is that because it's easier to go to townhomes and easier to make money that way? Or is that because the market doesn't want any duplexes?
That's a hard question. Nobody's building them.
Right.
And so, the thing is, for us to finance, we have to have, a builder that's going to build something. And for a builder to do it, they're going to do what's in the market. Somebody could come and try and upset the market and try something, and I think you find out how feasible that is. But
it's hard to okay cookie cutter every single time.
Yeah, it is.
And then they just get full of cars all over the road.
It's really hard.
What's our precedent for or is there precedent with the PD overlay as far as putting stipulations in that ensure that we don't have cookie cutter?
I mean, Willow Lakes was all sorts of stipulations.
Yeah, but Willow Lakes is a different animal because
It is, but
every house is a custom design.
But like we were we got into the weeds with them on the multifamily.
Yeah, we did.
And I'm curious.
But it is a different price point.
Because if I'm in your seat, I want to do the same thing. I want to make sure that this ends up special. And as I'm thinking through that, changing a lot size, whether it's a 4,000 or 10,000, doesn't, for me, doesn't move the needle that much. But some of these other things, I think we can work with, And I mean, that was, as I'm imagining my boy riding his bike, I want him to be able to get to that pump track. Or if the pump track is not, I think that's my little vision that I would like my kid to have. But if there's something, I think it's special to have a connection to a park.
Yeah.
But if there's something else we can do, if it's, I don't know, have a trail going through a park, or trees in the park strip, or something, at the same time, I'm not trying to redefine the feel of the neighborhood, completely. When you drive down Equestrian Estates and now looks unrecognizable, but I think they're, so I think we do have an opportunity with the open space, with the connection with the park, to make something different,
and your original proposal had like townhomes, and there's a park, like a trail that went through the middle, and right, which, to be fair, I think was more creative than where we are here. But I think part of the reason you end up getting pushed here is we pushed you away from townhomes, right? And so that makes it a little bit harder. But
and that's why
there's just hundreds of townhomes on
so
that side.
Well, and that's why also on the west side of this property, to propose duplexes doesn't feel that different to me than townhomes. So if we're trying to get away from.
I mean, structurally and engineering, they are
feel
different.
Because
to build them they're different, but also they feel different size-wise.
But they feel different. I mean, that's what I think, because it can look like a house. They feel more like a house than it is. The townhomes that have been the same
I've been telling
model for
Russ
so long.
this for a couple weeks now, that I feel like all of our townhomes we build these days are not human scale, and they're, was it you that gave the phrase of their high density masquerading as lower density? Like, they don't feel mid density, they feel big. They're 8 units long and they're 40 feet tall. Like, they don't feel neighborhoody. And I think that's part of the problem. It's not necessarily like townhouses are terrible and bad and we don't want any of them, but like all of the ones that are built these days are so gigantic that you don't feel like, you feel like ant next to them in a neighborhood.
Yeah.
They feel like a,
Well, they don't feel like neighborhood, they feel like city.
well, they're high density, but they're pretending to be not.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know if it was you that said that to me, Russ, or someone else, but
I haven't heard that, so.
But it's kind of how a lot of them feel, right?
Yeah, well, especially if you go with the 3-story alley loaded.
And 8 long, alley loaded.
Right, then
like you just walk into this wall of,
A huge building.
you know, and you try to mix that into a single family home and neighborhood, and it doesn't fit. And I think maybe, correct me if I'm wrong for the rest of you, but I think what a lot of us are looking for is, I'm not opposed to multifamily, but what I'm looking for is something that fits in a neighborhood that isn't so tall, isn't so long, but still allows some of that affordability of multifamily.
In some ways, that development that's right behind Sam's Club, that has the different sized mansion
Doing it
homes,
decently.
they did a decent job.
Yeah.
They didn't, you know, it's got
Yeah,
mansion homes.
just west of Sam's Club here in Logan.
Yeah, and it's got single family houses.
Right behind it.
Yeah. Because
So
yeah,
they did a
see
nice
something like that
mix.
is good.
But they're not a wall of identical townhomes.
Yes.
And they're not a wall of identical
Yeah.
houses either.
Yes.
And I think that's, I think when we're saying characters, like, okay, well, if you want a little more density, let's talk about that. But how can we find a housing product that, you know, maybe is a triplex, but feels, it doesn't have to be a duplex, but.
No, I'm just curious, because what we have here with cottage lots is it's kind of the one step up from townhomes, basically detached townhomes.
Right.
For all intents and purposes. So having an intermediate step to a twin, is the purpose of that for massing, or is it towards density, or what's?
I mean, I think to me is it gives a variety of housing types, which gives you more stages of life in the same neighborhood.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But it also hopefully makes some of those a little bit more affordable too. So I think that's a big thing for me is,
Well,
but
and I would, you know, I would say that I would like to see a more balanced mix.
yeah.
So that's why I suggested some additional larger lots and in
exchange.
And in exchange would consider higher density along 14th West.
Which economically still makes it work for the
Well,
developer,
Hopefully.
That's
Yeah.
The reason I was asking, you know, the purpose of the twin is because if somebody's buying a home, you know, if you can pay $380 for a townhome or $425 for a cottage home, there's not really a meaningful middle ground between those two. You know, if somebody is moving from a townhome,
right,
they're not going to want to move to
because you're only 30,000 different.
Right.
Right.
And so, you know, partly because I don't know that I can produce that product, and I don't want to come back to you and not have twin homes. Like, I'll go back and look at it, see what I can do, but if I come back with not having twin homes, you're like, oh, you didn't listen, well.
I don't think, if you don't come back with twin homes, it's not like I'm not married to twin homes. I think part of it is diversity. So it's not just house, driveway, house, driveway, house, driveway, house, driveway. With F-150s parked in front of all of them, bright red. Right, like, I think it's some uniqueness to the neighborhood.
And can't we
Maybe I'm
address
wrong.
that? It does it have to be in, we have it in lot size.
Diversity?
Can't it be a little bit in lot size, there's diversity. Can't it also be in how, which goes back to what I said before in terms of diversity of, you know, houses, style, or, you know, so we don't have the cookie cutter.
But given that it's not multifamily, you don't get much design input over the specific houses. I think that's part of the.
Well, that was my question about.
The PDO doesn't give us latitude to say,
It doesn't.
we want this type of house, and then this type of house, and this type of house, and this variation, because it's not multifamily, so we can't. And state code, correct me if I'm wrong, Russ, is what dictates that. Sorry, Aaron,
Right.
too. He was nodding me behind you anyway, so I was gonna.
So state code has restrictions on our local ability to impose design restrictions on single-family homes. That's That's been on the list for a little while.
All.
Single family
All
homes.
single family.
Articulation, color,
Any of it.
any roof lines, those sort of things
Okay.
are prohibited from us
Bubblegum
to regulate.
if you want.
Okay.
So
You
what
can
we
make it
have
with bubblegum if you want.
uniqueness on is your road design, your lot design, your green space
Well,
design,
then I get, the other thing, the only other
which is
thing
hard
I
to
would
get because
say, you were asking about features that would be of interest or, trees, et cetera, which,
center medians with trees. Where's Public Works? They love those.
I wonder, another project that I remember Jeannie asking, the one that we call the, oh my gosh, is it the four-way, it's getting too late, I can't think. And I got on a plane back from a plane, I'm on East Coast time still too. The gravel pit, for lack of a better, what is it now?
The Deer
Mountainside
Mountain
Estates.
Mountain States?
Is that Mountainside Estates?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I think so.
Thank you. The way those lots, we did not require fencing or a sort of buffer, I think, around the edge.
We did on 14,
Yes.
but
There's
not
a,
on 12.
But not on 12. Okay, so is that something we need to request here or consider or discuss on 14?
Buffer on 14th West. What is the setback against a major arterial? There was a different setback, right?
there's not a, for the rear setback on these lots that back onto 14th,
Uh-huh.
they have a 10-foot.
I
rear
thought
setback.
there was a larger,
10 foot to the house?
setback.
Yeah.
I thought we had a larger setback.
I'm unaware of any change to
Well-
a rear setback. We've often required some buffering, but that's done within the right-of-way typically.
Outside of the
No,
right of
it
way.
was not, the buffering on 14th was not done that way. Sorry. I've been at this a long time. Didn't we created a separate piece of code that dealt with larger streets and the buffering that had to occur?
You are correct.
Thank you.
So on 1400 North, 1500 North, up in the mountainside estates, that was employed. This is a unique one because of the 102-foot street, but only building out to 80 feet. You're going to have additional land there.
Yeah, but if they build it to 102, he's going to have 10 feet.
Right.
And that's not okay.
You're correct. So there is that, when you back up against a collector or an arterial, it's an additional 10 feet. So,
Thank you. I'm not, my brain still works.
Sharper than mine, Jeannie.
And
that
y'all
land
want
is
this-
supposed to be owned by the HOA and maintained by the HOA.
Right.
Which, I probably should have said this earlier, tagging onto this. Willow Lakes is building a bike lane-ish along 1400 West right now, south of 600. Well, not right now, but inside the next year, right? Which ideally we'd want to connect this at some point along here. Granted, their bike lane's currently on the west side of the road is the plan. But there is also an 8-foot mixed-use path on Sugar Creek on 600 South that's on the north side of the road that would be nice to have some sort of north running connection without having to cross 1400 West.
Yeah.
And so I do think there's some regional reason to have some sort of buffer with an 8-foot trail on the west edge of this development. But
I
sorry,
just
interrupt.
wanted the perimeter to be considered as he was asking about feature, as well as things I've seen that haven't worked. And you all have been doing this much longer to know what.
I'm not a much longer. I'm just.
I know, but
Somebody else is
and
much
that's why I wanted to bring it up. I don't know what those solutions or recommendations would be per se, but
So, well, my question right now is, has that 10-foot consideration been put into this plan?
Right.
Not at this point.
It has to be.
Yeah, as part of the formal review and adoption, those details will be taken care of.
Out of curiosity,
But it won't, I mean,
That'll have impact.
the thing that will impact
what is
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lots.
what does 10 feet by 40 feet take off of a 0.1 acre lot? Is that taking 10% of the lot, 20% of the lot? Rich doesn't like public math either, but we're gonna make Aaron do some square root calculations on
It's
what
about 12%.
It's about 12%.
20, he
So
said.
the depth of
20
those
or
lots-
12?
Sorry, go ahead.
I think it's like 12 to 15, they're 85 foot deep.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention, they're 85-foot deep lots.
Okay.
What is the front setback?
They're 85 feet deep now, but how much of that is right away?
None.
No,
None. They're
no,
all
that's not
outside.
right away. That's the depth
considered-
shown here.
And so you take your lot
So
from
then you'd
85
have a
feet down to
20-foot
75.
setback on the back. There may be options, we mentioned earlier about reducing that front setback maybe from 25, but it would be 25 currently. So
It's currently 25 front.
What's that?
The setback on the front's currently 25.
Would be, standard would be 25.
Yeah.
But there's an option to reduce that.
Can we only sell those houses to people that drive smart cars?
It-
I'm kidding.
It would make sense to go to a 20-foot.
Because the guy's gonna buy an
That building
F-350.
envelope that we were discussing earlier, then you'd be
It's not gonna fit.
45 feet of
And then he'll
buildable
park it on the
depth.
sidewalk.
But it,
You'd have 45 feet of buildable
it
depth if it was 20 and 20.
also leads to a larger conversation on perhaps a mansion home or something like that, or 2 or 3 on that strip. That would be not as backyard requiring, perhaps.
When you say mansion home, it's like just larger lots?
A triplex that looks
So-
like a normal home.
It looks like a regular.
I hate
home.
the term too,
Just
but
go
people keep using
over,
it.
just go over to Sam's Club, right? Just directly west of Sam's Club. They've built this whole development and they have things that look like great big houses, but they're not. They're 4 units or
But it
I
looks
think
like
one of
one.
them's 5 units, but looks like it's one roof and it looks just like a big house.
Okay.
They call them mansion homes is what they call, that's the technical term, I guess.
But that would fall into multifamily? Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yeah, they're multifamily.
Yeah, they're
They're multifamily
multifamily. Whether they
structures that are
would be-
designed to look
setback.
like a.
Do you want an address for that if you're curious?
I'll get them that.
Okay. I pulled it up.
But I think that, I don't know. My desire is that we try to accommodate the neighborhood a little bit more, fix the alley driveway, and perhaps do some higher density on that west side
In a unique way.
in a unique way.
Not 42 90-foot tall townhomes.
No.
That probably we're gonna have to do anyways with the setback.
He could have he wouldn't necessarily have to, but
I don't necessarily disagree with Jeannie.
Amy, you could have sat down.
I do love the idea of center medians with trees. I'm being sarcastic, but I do love the idea.
It would make it look cute.
It would make it look
I don't, Public Works here, I don't know that I want.
Yeah, he's right there.
You can make it all.
Hey, whatever we put in the PDO, he has to plow around, so buckle up, Paul.
Oh, don't say that. Okay. That won't be nice.
All right, can we move on to our next item? If anyone have anything else?
Are you clear as mud?
Yeah.
Okay. That's all, that was our.
Feel free to snag her afterwards if you want to, if you're okay with that. I'm gonna move on unless anyone's
Sounds
opposed.
good.
All right, we're only an hour behind schedule now. Amy, you've been standing in the back. Aaron, thank you for all that extra effort.
Thank you.
We'll see you back in a couple of weeks to do it all again.
I learned something.
Thanks, Aaron.
No, really, thank you.
Aaron,
Aaron?
you have to worry when, I can get in the weeds pretty easily.
Amy,
Hi.
let's take another hour onto the rezone. What do you think?
Yes.
Deal, take us away. We spent more time on that than our budget. Is that stupid?
Thinking. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Put that in the record. I need a snack. We're at that point of the night.
I still could have
I ate a sandwich before, used it for something.
Go, Amy.
Okay,
You have snacks.
we can't have food in here. Okay, I prepared a half hour for each one of these.
Amy, why is that called that?
That's what they called it.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
I
we just
just-
go off what they call it when they turn in the
Okay.
application.
I was like, it's such, okay.
Because he's improving his residence.
That sounds like a, I don't know.
Okay, let's go. All right, so 200 north and 600 west. We've got the gas station on this corner, this big, then Brio is coming into here recently, went through planning commission.
That's just commercial services.
Yep, this is commercial services, this is mixed use. The new FLUP calls this out. Well, okay, here's the house. This is what it is currently. The new FLUP calls it out as mixed use. So here's what we have: single family homes, fourplex, Brio, gas station, apartment buildings. This is what the house currently looks like. So he's remodeling currently to put an ADU in. It's owner occupied. And to make it 3 units, he would like to turn this garage into an apartment. And so he's asking to rezone it and in MR12, which allows for 3 units and no more. Mainly because he feels like it's a 0.31 acre lot. It would only allow 3 units. In mixed use, it could allow like 6. But if anyone were to buy this and demolish the home to build mixed use, there would be no space with our current code for mixed use to have 3,500 square feet of commercial and then residential. So that's why. Say that again?
It'd be a very skinny building.
Well, you couldn't go up high enough, I don't think. And have enough parking. Parking is where everybody because parking for that much commercial and for residential, there's no way. He's open to mixed use so that eventually if someone in 20 years wants to buy up, this area, they could develop it,
But if it's mixed use, he has to have commercial.
If it's
Over a certain size.
right now, if he's not demoing the building and building something new, then he can have what's currently there grandfathered as residential. He doesn't have to put in commercial. If he were to demolish the building and build something new, it would have to include commercial.
Does that include demolishing the garage?
Well,
He's
not demolishing.
converting the garage. Because if he demolishes the garage, it would have to move away from the setbacks that it's in.
Okay.
Is it like right on the property line to the
Yeah,
east?
basically. So MR12 made sense as a transition from this mixed use and this commercial services around this single family. But mixed use, if you wanted to go along with the FLUP,
Also makes sense.
it wouldn't allow any more than 3 units in this house. Well, I mean, I guess he could try to get 6 units in it, but that's why
Isn't the house like
MR3
1,600
only
square feet?
allows 3 units. MR12 only will allow 3 units.
Isn't the house like 1,600 square feet though?
So if I remember the argument correctly at Planning Commission,
16
it
square
was
foot
that we were trying to stay with the FLUP
You're
and not create a new zone in the middle.
So that was part of it. Well, the biggest issue was, well, how can we say this is mixed use if there's no commercial? But then that was the same for the other one, yes, if it's demolished, there would have to be commercial and residential. If not, it can just stay residential right now until someone down the line buys up more
So
property.
Planning Commission voted MR12 down.
Yes, they forwarded a recommendation of MR12.
They did?
They did.
I thought they were,
No, it's the other one they recommended. No,
Okay.
it's the next rezone.
okay, sorry.
No, no.
So,
Wait. You might be all right.
No, that,
It was in March, they recommended in March 12.
they did?
Yep, says right here.
Never mind.
But the big discussion was MR12 or MU.
So they concluded that MR12 was an intermediate step to mixed use. So it was a step in the right direction. It wasn't the full step.
Okay,
So that was their logic.
okay.
Because
thank you.
eventually it could also be upzoned to mixed use when there's more property to add to it, to make it viable, or when we change our if we change our mixed use categories to make sense for something this small to have commercial and residential. Right now, our code doesn't allow for something.
Quite as an aside, I drove by the house the other day and I'm impressed by what you've done to it so far.
Thank you.
It's getting better.
It's a lot of work, no home.
Yep.
It is an old home.
But they're the ones that have the most love inside.
Someone lives in an old home, huh?
Any questions? Not this time, maybe next time.
You guys, we got
We
another
don't
hour
come in
filled.
again till like July 21st.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
can Amy go on?
Any other questions for Amy? Okay. Amy can go on, Jeannie.
Okay, then the next one is ordinance 2612. Or 11. 11. And it's the Old Man Project. Used to be the Old Man Theater by where the Target's going. The applicant would like to get a bar permit. So a full-service bar. And right now, there's only, the few that we have are only near Center Street, downtown, and they think it would be good to have one up farther north, near the residential one, USU, where people can walk. The only way they can get this is to be mixed use or town center, and town center's not gonna happen right here, so they would like to change to mixed use, rezone to mixed use in order to get that bar license.
So people can walk across.
And the same for this one,
200 east
because it's already
to go to the
existing,
bar.
they wouldn't need to add residential to it in order to have the mixed use zone designation.
But they do have to upgrade the parking lot.
Yes, so along with this application is a conditional use permit that came, and with that, Planning Commission is requiring them to turn in a landscaping and parking lot to make sure they would have enough for all of what they've got.
So
And
it
hold
would
them to the fire for that.
be a bar in addition to all the businesses that are in.
One of the businesses would turn into a bar.
Turn into a bar.
The Greek place, Greek Street would not be there anymore, it would be a bar.
That's
And they're not gonna open till 3 p.m.?
I thought they said like 7.
Oh, maybe that's what.
So like it would offset the parking, so instead of having a restaurant open all day long, this bar would open later in the night, which would open up parking.
And it would have good food, but it needed to be a bar. It was really confusing.
Yeah, whoops, whoa,
But I
where did I
like
go?
Seems fine.
Do you?
I thought they opened a second location.
And,
We
yeah,
voted at 5.
so Planning Commission forwarded a recommendation of approval for mixed use.
Yeah.
Are people really gonna walk across 200 East?
There's gonna
There's a
be
light there now.
375
Plus,
houses.
I guess there are
in
gonna be 375
Yeah, I was
houses
gonna say,
right there.
Yeah,
Right.
there's gonna be
Okay.
housing all there, there's gonna
That's
be a
right.
light on 200 East.
There already is a
There
light.
is a
on
light
200
on
East.
200 East, so it's easy to cross the
When's the last time you walked across a 3-lane light
Well, there is a
intersection
light
and
now.
didn't jog because you were scared for your
There's a
life?
light at that
on Main
intersection.
Street all the time.
And you don't like pick up your step a little bit and
Yeah,
hurry?
you do.
You do, you do.
You do.
I'm just saying, it doesn't, I don't know.
There's a light at that intersection, remember?
It's okay if Amy moves on.
Yeah.
This is it.
Man, you guys are all pushing me. I was the one. Thank you, Amy.
Yeah, this is all I've got, so.
Thanks, Amy.
Thank you, Amy.
you.
We'll see you in a month.
Yeah,
Enjoy
just
your
stand-
holiday.
Yeah, just stand there
Thanks,
and
Russ. Okay,
listen to us.
any other considerations? We're adjourned. We're now going to
Agency.
I know, we're now, God, you guys are all telling me how to do my job today. I'm looking at that page, okay? We are now adjourned to the Logan Redevelopment Agency, June 16th, 2026. Kirk sitting on the back seat. Back there. We just need to have one public hearing. 8 o'clock. We're only 15 minutes behind schedule. Kirk, you want to come give us RDA 2621?
34.
No, it's supposed to be an action item at 8 p.m.
Oh, I was looking at that.
Yeah,
Hello,
I do.
council,
Kirk.
board, I guess, we're in RDA now. I don't have any further comments unless you have some questions, and I'm happy to address those.
Any questions for Kirk? Oh, sorry, Rich wants to stay longer. I've got a couple questions for you.
Sure.
Why is it such a round number? I don't have any questions, really. We went over it last time.
Wait, why is it such a round number?
610,000, it's kind of a perfect number.
I generally try to round to the nearest zero. Actually, 5,000 increments. So.
Thank you, Kirk. Any further questions? We're going to open this for a public hearing for Gail. Gail, this is a public hearing. If you have any comments, please come to the microphone, state your name, your city of residence, and please take as much time as you want. The public hearing is officially open. Seeing no one, we will close the public hearing. Thank you, Gail.
Thanks, Gail.
And we'll bring it to the council, to the board for a motion.
I'm
I
impressed.
move we approve resolution
I'll make a
2621.
We have a motion. Katie?
Second.
Make sure it says RDA.
We have a motion and a second to approve resolution 2621 RDA. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Seeing no one opposed, resolution 2621 RDA passes. Any other considerations? Thank you. Thanks, Kirk.
Thank you.
I wasn't going to let you because I knew.